Hello.
Hey everybody!
Hello. I love your intro. That is so good. Really, really
It's
good.
that's Christine's work right there.
Thank
Awesome
you.
job, Chris.
Let's
Hi
see who we
everybody!
got.
I've been gone for so long.
Yes, well, because we were all kind of gone, and then we came back, and you were sick.
Yeah, we had a crazy June, but here I am, and I just want to tell everybody I'm all moved. I'm all better, mostly, but
Still hear your
this
throat
month
is a
is
little
going to be
scratchy.
so much. I'm still a little hoarse, yeah, but the move is over, and that's the big deal. And gymnastics trips are over for
Done.
you. No,
Done. Competition
so
season is over.
yeah,
All right,
we
let's see
made
who we
it.
got here. Hi, Jen Lou and mi amor Michelle. I see that you're getting some chalupas. That's not fair. CDT. Hi, guidance in life with TLC. I love it. Let's see who else. Mark. Hi, Mark. Pink Dahlia, my love. Dina, Brandy, Christine. You're in chat. I see you.
Yes.
Hi, Donna. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Lynn.
I wish I was
Lo-
at the beach.
I know, me too. Love my Charlie Faye. Hi, Rosalind. Hi, Steffa. Hi, Raina. I think I got
Lots of
everybody. If I missed you, I'm really sorry, and I love all of you, even if I didn't say your name. Hopefully, I'll catch you if you come in again. Um, Today I am honored. I am absolutely honored to have one Christine is back on panel, and we have a very awesome special guest that I think most of you in this chat probably already know. But in case you don't, I'll give her a second to introduce herself. Miss Alex Erickson.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here. So yeah, I'm just a little old true crime creator on the tubes. And yeah, I mainly cover kids cases, but I've talked about, all sorts of cases, really, even the Uvalde shooting, kind of depending on what's happening. But my heart is really with the kids. Yeah, that's about it.
Allie,
So
where's your accent? What's your accent? It's just like warm country butter, and you are welcome here.
warm country butter. That is a perfect thing to say
That's
about her voice. It really
hilarious.
is.
I'm from West
Raina.
Virginia.
West Virginia, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Pink Dahlia's like Alex Erickson, yay! Raina's like, who's Allie? We don't know who Allie is.
Where are you guys from, by the way? Just curious.
California.
We're both in California, just opposite ends.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Wow,
on
that's
the
a
I'm
whole
on the
nother world.
southern side.
One day I'm going to make it out west and I'll come see you guys. I really want,
Absolutely.
I would love to, because have you guys ever been to the East Coast? It's so weird. It feels like it'd be another world out there, you know?
The East Coast, I've been to like Florida, which would be like southeast, but I've never been to like New York, like that area up there. I've never been there.
Yeah, no, I have not.
Ooh, cool.
I
Yeah.
watched a special one time about West Virginia, and
You watched a
about
special about it?
yeah, about how pretty it was, and that people don't give it enough credit going there because whatever. But they were like showing like the parks or something, and it was really pretty, really beautiful.
My sister and my brother-in-law lived in West Virginia for about 5 years, in Morgantown, or like
Ooh,
right
okay.
outside of Morgantown, like because my nephews like all went to West Virginia University in Morgantown.
How cool.
So they're back here now, and everybody's kind of the my nephews are grown, so not grown, but they're out trying to be grown, I guess you'd call it, because they're like early 20s. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
trying to be grown. But so my sister and my brother-in-law are back here now. But
That's really cool. I went to college just a few minutes from there, actually. I went to Glenville State University, but it's really maybe 45 minutes from there. And Morgantown is lots of fun, lots and lots of fun there.
so I heard. I heard it's
Yeah, it gets
my
wild.
nephews had some stories to tell. I'm like, you guys came back like different people. But I'm like 10 minutes from the beach, so like we can go straight to the beach and just hang out.
Oh,
Hmm.
awesome.
And I'm about an hour from San Francisco, an hour from Lake Tahoe, an hour from Reno. I live right in the middle of those
That's
fun places.
to go Vegas. I think that's going to be a stop on my way.
Have you been to Vegas?
No, I've never been anywhere out west, only on like down to Florida, like on the East Coast and then up to Jersey, but not out west at all.
Oh, you got to come west. I don't know if you'll want to go back though. But Florida beaches, I have to say Florida beaches and East Coast beaches seem to be better than West Coast beaches.
Ooh, well, I don't know. I guess Florida beaches have the clear water and stuff like
Yep.
that. Up here, and like I'm in the Carolinas right now. My mom lives in the Outer Banks. It's not like that. It's not clear water or anything like that.
Oh, I thought that was
Aren't
all
the
like
sharks
the East
like
Coast.
in like the Carolinas? Like
The great whites.
Oh my God, actually, there's a lot of sharks there. I saw a video once. You can look this up on YouTube. It's called Shark Feeding Frenzy in the Outer Banks. And there's like hundreds and hundreds of sharks coming up
oh yeah,
straight
absolutely not.
to the
Absolutely
shore.
not. So since we're gonna promote sharks, you guys know Shark Week is coming up, which is like one of my favorite weeks of the year. I freaking love Shark Week.
Oh, how cool. My kids love sharks. They're all about it.
If I lived out there, I would totally have a drone and like chase sharks around the ocean beach like for free. Just warning everybody. That's probably instead of just sitting around watching my security cameras, my ring cam. I would
Just
fly
be out
my
there
drone.
tracking sharks.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
be out there trying to warn people.
Well, they have like the little bracelets. And I don't know how to say the name of the company, but it's at like FAHLO, I think it is. And you can buy you buy a bracelet and it tracks. You can buy a shark one. I have my daughter and I got polar bear ones. They have elephants, penguins, and it gives you like a specific animal and you can track it.
What?
Yeah,
Is
it's really
that? Did you
cool.
just spell flow? Because I was like, man, they should do that for women.
Track women? We don't want to track women. Oh, you have a turtle one? Okay, yeah, that's right. Oh, they have sea turtles. See, there's always the one that I forget. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you.
So that's
Where do
kind
you
of
buy it at? SeaWorld?
No, you can order them online.
Oh.
kind of like when you name like a star after one of your family members or something. Like you can give them a map and they can always look to it. It would be a cool gift like that, you know? I would love that.
Yeah, so like, let me see if you can see. I don't know if I can show you. So like, yeah, so my polar bear's name is Noop, and it tracks her, all over, and it tells you like the backstory. And then you can also add like, so since my daughter has one, I can add hers, and hers is named Hopin. And so ironically, they live in the same area. So it's like we like try to track and see like when you
that
like
is
when they cross paths.
Yeah, what if they ever like overlapped and then one disappeared or something? That'd be traumatizing.
Well, that was actually what my littlest one is like, well, what happens when it dies? And I was like, well, I don't know. We're hoping that it doesn't. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't have an answer for that. Why do you got to go all grim on me?
Speaking of which,
God.
No, that's funny. I want one of those for Jack. He would love that.
How do they put the tracker in it? What is it in like?
So like, you know how you watch like when they go out and they like track animals, especially because of the hi coolest reviews. T gets lost. I know I'm like lost. Let's just follow the polar bear today. But they I want a baby elephant. Well, they have the elephants. I don't know if they have baby ones, but I don't even know what I don't even know where I was going with any of that. I totally lost I went with the whole like T got lost on the polar bear, and I don't even know what I was doing anymore.
Because somebody asked about if it died.
And then I asked how they track it, and I think you were starting to say.
Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. Thank you, Allie. Yes. So they go out and they track the animals for conservation purposes, because they're endangered or close to being endangered or critically endangered. So they track them so they can kind of pay attention to the movements and understand like what's happening, like climate change and so on and so forth, and where these animals are going and how they're surviving. Yeah, coolest reviews. It was definitely you that distracted me. And so they already do that for conservation purposes anyway. And I think this is like a way to get people involved because they're already tracking them. So now they are selling a product because you get a bracelet. I don't have my bracelet on, but they're selling a product. So then the money goes to funding and helping the conservation of these animals.
That is awesome.
Right.
So-
It's really awesome. So I got my best friend, I got her a shark one. And she got I think she has a hammerhead. She has a hammerhead that she watches go around.
So I've had for like 5 years the background on like my wallpaper on my phone is like this like epic photo of like a big gray elephant. And it's not really like even a pretty photo. I mean, it is a pretty photo. It's a beautiful photo, but it's just like this like super like majestic elephant. And whenever anybody would see my phone, like accidentally or not, because I'd always be like, this is my spirit animal. This is how I made it. And when somebody would see my phone, they'd be like, oh my God, that is the best. Like, it's just kind of unexpected. So then for Christmas, I forgot who gave it to me, but somebody gave me like one of those wall canvas arts that's like different pieces of like this big, majestic, epic elephant in my
That's so
dining room.
cool.
Yeah, so that's my thing.
That's super cool. Elephants, and you could probably find a lot of like cool decoration stuff because elephants for a while have been kind of in furniture and stuff like that, a little trendy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just have that one picture in my background, but I love it.
Let's see. I think Tia popped in. Hi, Tia. ATS is here. Hi, you guys. Michelle says that by the time this live is over, we're all going to have a bracelet that tracks an animal because they're really. I want more. So, and all the bracelets are all different colors. So I ended up with the polar bear because it was pink, and pink is my favorite color. And then I was worried about a shark because I wanted the sharks to be where you could actually like pick what kind of shark you were going to track because I want to track a great white, but they're random. It just tracks different kinds of sharks. And so I was like, I don't know if I could take.
How much was it?
I think like 15 or 18 bucks.
Oh, okay, that's not even bad.
Yeah, not bad.
What kind of bracelet?
All right, I'm gonna go get it. Give me 1 second.
I'm surprised her favorite color is pink. I would
Yeah,
have.
when she was starting this channel and she was talking to me about like what she wanted the design and stuff to look like, it was like a true crime channel, pink. And I was just like, what? I was like, I don't know. She wanted me to put Pepto-Bismol and everything, and I said no.
You still have a little pink, like see around our boxes and stuff, but it's a little pink.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's fun. I love if I was gonna like a pink that's my favorite, I love that mauvey nude pink.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I like red. Hey now.
Hi everybody in chat.
Okay, so I went and stole my daughter's too. So this is mine. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see.
Oh, that's cool. I was expecting one of those like rubber bracelets.
Me too.
That's neat.
No, so these are all pink, but you can't really tell that they're pink. And then this, I stole this right off of her arm. I was like, give me that. So that's hers. That's her little polar bear.
That's cool. That's a good idea, whoever made those.
Right.
I sure hope they're supporting a polar bear.
Well, it is. It just goes to the conservation of polar bears, or it goes to the conservation efforts on all of it. All right. So anyway, hi, Johnny Kramer.
Super nice bracelets. I'm Bentley. You can't eat the whole thing of Oreos. He thinks I'm live, so he's. I'm gonna take him in a second.
To eat the Oreos.
Oh, yeah, the whole box. But yeah, I think I'll be buying my bracelet after this. But we can move forward.
It's called FAHLO.
FAHLO. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fallow. I don't know follow. I don't know how to say it, so I'll just spell it. FAHLO. And you can order them online, or you can get them when you go to like a zoo or a SeaWorld or any of those places.
I found it.
Did you?
I'm done.
Yep.
You want this back? Come get it. She's like, I kind of like my bracelet back. Thanks, Ben. All right, so everybody have a great 4th of July. How's everybody's 4th of July? Christine, what'd you do?
Oh, so we didn't. So my son is autistic, and my puppy is a Doberman, and so we didn't go out and do anything. And like where I'm at in Northern California, people just love to like. I mean, they're all illegal fireworks. They go get them in like Oregon or Nevada, and then they bring them back here. So they were going off till like 2 in the morning last night, and I mean, these are like earth-shaking fireworks, and like where you think they're landing on your house and stuff. And so I didn't sleep very good, and yeah, I mean,
Are
4th of July
all
is just not my
fireworks
favorite.
illegal by you? Like even like regular ones? Like you guys don't have fireworks stands?
We do have fireworks stands, but those are usually, I mean, people save the best for 4th of July, like the nighttime.
Right.
People are doing their fireworks for like a few days beforehand. 4th of July is just not my favorite one, and especially since my son doesn't really like the noise and stuff. He's just too sensitive for it. So, I mean, it's whatever. Everybody has fun and does their thing, and then we come in early, and just kind of tucker in for the night.
Poor pups. I came home early so that I could be with the new pup. Well, I hate calling her a puppy because she's just so dang big, but she's still a puppy. So I came home to make sure because it was her first 4th of July. I wanted to see how she would do, um, and only the big illegal ones were kind of traumatizing. She was like, "Wait a minute, like what the heck is that?" Other than that, she did fine.
Yeah. They're
Not many.
mostly illegal. Like the neighborhood fireworks are mostly illegal by 4th of July. So yeah, they're loud, loud, loud.
We just hung out by the water and did fireworks, but here in North Carolina, they're also illegal. But in West Virginia, anybody can buy any of them. Like you can set them off at your house that go up in the air, whatever kind you want, you can get. And I should have thought of that and brought some, but you know how it is. I'm traveling by myself with a little 5-year-old, and I'm just trying to get here.
Yes. Um, so in West Virginia, you can do all the big ones too. Those aren't illegal.
Yeah, yep. You can buy the fireworks that they get put off at like big fireworks shows for the town and stuff like that. Like you can get any of them. They had these cool ones at my neighbor's house last year. They went up really high in the air, and when they came down, like the sparks turned into like it looked like little bungee people. Like it looked like a little, what is it called when you jump? Like little hot air balloons. All like they turned into balloons and all fell. It was super cool. They have some really unique
That's
stuff.
awesome. And then did you watch fireworks like over the water?
Yeah, we did there, but my dad only we got the kind on the ground, but there were people that were letting them off that were going over the water and stuff. I posted a little picture on my community page of kind of
I'm
where
gonna
we
go
were
look.
sitting because my parents have a fire pit that's like right by the water, so we were sitting there and the kids were doing s'mores and stuff.
I'm gonna go look.
Somebody just reminded me, Teresa, last year about Donna says about last year with the interview. That
I
was
can't believe that was a year
hilarious.
ago. That was yeah, I think it was on the second or third. So it was like
Yeah,
4th of July weekend.
it was like bombs were going off with like no
That
no
was
acknowledgement
yeah,
from them at
that was
all.
a very interesting interview. It was very, and I got kicked off that interview. Like my Wi-Fi or something happened, and every time I tried to go back onto StreamYard, I could not get back on. Like I don't know what happened. It literally would not let me back onto that live stream.
Hmm.
All right,
Uh,
I'm gonna go look at it. I want to look at Allie's picture real quick, and
Oh,
then
on this website for those bracelets, I signed up for like the email thing, and now I got a pop up that says buy two get one free. So they're having like a little sale right now.
what? You guys hear that in chat? Get in there.
I'm gonna see what I can put together.
Oh yes, I did see this last night. This is gorgeous. I don't know if you guys can see on Allie's.
oh yeah, pretty.
Super relaxed.
Jealous. Yeah, that's way cool. So Outer Banks like from the TV show Outer Banks?
Um, it looks similar. That was actually filmed in like South Carolina, I think, instead of North Carolina. But it looks just like that. Like there are tons of people. Like I could hop on my parents' boat and drive down to the actual shore where the waves are, and lots of people live right on the water, kind of like that. And it is similar to the show. But yeah, they filmed. Mom told me where. It's South
That's
Carolina.
where the house fell into the water recently. Like,
Oh, I saw that on the news. I don't know where that was.
I thought they said Outer Banks.
I don't know. Kaylee watches a show called Outer Banks with
Yeah.
I don't remember the guy's name now, John or something. I don't know.
Oh, and you know how they have like they're looking for the treasure and stuff? It's totally like that. Like for one, it looks very similar to the show, but also they're known for their shipwrecks here because the Outer Banks is like a little skinny island and the shore of North Carolina right beside the island, and it goes down like most of the coast, a lot of the coast. And probably, I don't know, I'd have to look at a map. It's a long island though, and a lot of shipwrecks happen because they didn't anticipate this little tiny island off the coast of the Carolinas, because it's like some places it's like and see the other side of it, but it's super long, it's really narrow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I would do like just traveling by boat like everywhere I would go like they do on there. It's like, all right, let's go get in the boat. Like nobody even has cars. Just get on a boat.
Yeah, we don't do that, but I mean, you could technically if you wanted to. But I wonder if they do more, because my mom's like 45 minutes from the shore, and I wonder if you could still, if people are doing that closer to the shore. You know what I mean? Because here you can jump in the water and drive there, because the water that you've seen in that picture is where the ocean meets the river pretty much. So you can get in and go to the beach, but also you could go left and go down a river.
I would. Mark says he would fish every day.
We have kayaks and stuff. We do fish, but we've mainly been swimming because of the babies. But
and then Pink Dahlia wants to know did you figure out if it was a sword that you actually found?
no, I haven't found out yet. Yeah, we find stuff in the water all the time, and I found this, like, I sent her a picture. It totally looked like it could have been a sword or something like that. It had a handle and everything, and it was unmistakable, the handle on it. It was like a handle. And but we haven't found out yet.
Treasure hunting.
I don't know how to for sure find out. We found things before from old sailboats, super old sailboats. But yeah.
You were treasure hunting. You were like legit treasure hunting.
But it's all in the water where they find it swimming. My mom that's funny you say that, because she used to take me here as a kid every year, and she would take me out on treasure hunts every morning. She's like, okay, let's go treasure hunting, and we'd go.
Oh, that's so cool. How's mom's doing? Mom's doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing okay. She's still kind of laying around, and but she's healing. She's doing better.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you for asking.
Of course. And then I see that Missy's better late than never. Hi, Missy. Allison was smoking a brisket for 4th of July. And then let's see. I know somebody else popped in here. I saw somebody else pop in. Now I don't remember where I saw it. All right. Well, if I missed you again, sorry. And welcome. Hello. All right. So let's start. So we have some cases that we mutually covered. So I'm very excited to see like what you think of certain things. And I want to start with Summer's case, if that's okay with you, because I know that I've listened to your lives about how your trip down to Tennessee, but I want to kind of hear it straight from
you. Do you want me to just go through like? Let me think. I don't know.
Well, first, I was so excited that you were going there because it's so different to see these areas like firsthand.
I know.
When I do get to travel or go places, like I try to figure out like, and it's probably morbid, but I look at like crimes that have happened in the area that I would recognize, and I like to go there because I like to be able to see it with my own eyes, because it's a totally different perspective than somebody videotaping. The distances are different. How big areas looks completely different. Like the most important one to me was like when I traveled to Florida, I did go look at Kaylee Anthony's, the spot that they found Kaylee Anthony.
Wow.
And it's surreal. And that's like such a commonly used word, but it really is. It's so surreal to see these spaces. And it just was like for Kaylee Anthony, like she was right off the street. She was right off the street. And like, you don't realize that like from television or for, people filming it, it's literally right there.
Time. Wasn't she there a long time?
Yeah. Close to 6 months.
I think we have a little delay, but yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, she was there close to 6 months. So it was but it was, it's Florida, so it was part of that time it was flooded and nobody was looking there, or when they looked there they couldn't see under the water parts, the parts that were flooded, so they didn't see her. And then when the water receded, that's when the Roy Crunk found her. But I think he had been out looking for her anyway.
Yeah.
But it is. So I wanted to kind of hear from your perspective, like when you get there, like where's the first place you go? What do you see? Like how, like what's the, like, tell me about like that feeling. You know what I mean? Like that feeling is important.
Okay, so it's I was overcome with emotion. It's crazy because I felt so many things at one time. And with it being active right now, and I don't know, it's just like I was excited, but it was kind of eerie, and also I don't know, just a million things going through my head. And I'm thinking I want to see and do all these things. First thing, I think like the fact that some people don't realize how different it can look on camera versus in real life. And it looked, I mean, I never, hold on, Bentley. I never thought that she could have possibly made it down that hill walking, but I thought I kind of left it open, but when I got there, I knew, you know for a fact, because it's much steeper in person. Even their driveway is so much steeper, and it has a ton of like, you guys, shh, it has a, sorry, I'm sorry. It has a ton of like big holes in the road. It's just, there's a lot of depth that you don't really recognize on camera that you see in person. Even in the horse pond, you couldn't see like the big rocks in the pond and stuff, but in person you can see that there are giant huge rocks all throughout it, and lots of sticks, and I mean there's horse shit right next to the pond. Uh-oh.
Great place to be swimming.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, it's crazy because the Warriors Path State Park, they had actually built recently, and it's semi new, a very huge multi-million-dollar playground with tree houses and caves and a musical section. And I mean, it is like not your average playground. So you would think if she wanted to keep Summer busy, why didn't she take her there? Hold on.
And that was built at that time. It had already been built.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Why go to this little creek area? Well, to drink and to smoke and to do whatever, because you don't want to be where other people are going to be. You don't want a populated area, right?
That's exactly what they were doing. They wanted privacy. You could see, and another thing, that was the first place we actually went, was the horse pond. Then we went, because we got there kind of in the evening, and their house was kind of further away, and the horse pond was pretty close. But yeah, when we went to where she filmed that video of Summer, and you can see that they weren't down just hanging out on the beach. They were up in the woods. Like they really wanted privacy. But
there is a trail that goes there, so like people do travel there, right? I mean, like it's an actual trail.
Yeah, it is a trail. And actually, the next day we saw somebody out there walking it.
Did you see anybody swimming?
No. I don't think many people do that. And honestly, there's a swimming area. There's a swimming pool. There's this Warriors Path State Park is so huge. There's better places that if that was the goal, just swimming, they would have went somewhere else.
That's interesting. Okay. I never thought about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's a really good point.
Yeah. And the locals, they were amazing. They were so kind. Some of them didn't even know of the case. I'll tell you, there was a neighbor of theirs that lived as soon as you turn onto Beach Creek Road, within a half a mile from where you turn onto Ben Hill or turn back onto Beach Creek. And they drove a red truck that looked like a 90s-ish model, and the woman had never heard of the case. So I thought, are police even looking for the red truck? I mean, how can you be this close and you've never heard of the case? Maybe she didn't want to talk. I don't know, but that's what she said. So,
well, you remember, like even with Watts, like as sensationalized as that case was, there was still locals who had no idea.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think it's crazy, but they didn't know.
And that's even bigger. I mean, that was much, much bigger than this. So, well, then
I don't
that,
know. I feel like this is pretty big. There's a lot of conspiracy around it. I think that the difference is that people dug into documentation and body cam footages and all of that with Watts. But
yeah.
this definitely Summer has taken on its own life on the internet.
Oh yes.
What do
There's a
you guys think?
couple.
So my theory, you want my theory of what I think happened? Because it
Yeah.
changes, but
Yeah.
it kind of changes. So my theory, I hate to even say it because then when I say something different later, people are like, but you said you thought, blah, blah, blah. My theory has been somewhat around that she was a victim of SA and they got rid of her so that she either wouldn't be victimized anymore or gave her to somebody that would take care and she would be victimized. I think she was purposely given away.
That's kind of where I'm leaning these days too, especially because I don't know what the sound issue is.
I am not convinced that she is dead. I know I'm one of the very few. I've never been convinced that she is dead.
I hope and pray she's not. If she was
Well, I don't
trafficked,
know. I don't know because I think that what would be happening to her might be worse than being dead. So, but I don't know. I don't think that anything that really happened from the morning until the afternoon is as relevant as people think it is. Besides in looking at the the parents mindset and what they what kind of parenting they have. But I think that whatever happened to Summer happened between 3:30 and 5:30.
yeah.
And there's so much time in there not accounted for. Like they talk about like, oh, they did all this planting, but then you see the planters and the planters are like planters and then they have some cacti,
Oh
right?
my God.
There's no like there's not like massive gardening happening, so they get home. See, I'm gonna have to go back through like this whole timeline because they get home. So Candace specifically stated that milk video was at 3:09 p.m. We asked for proof of that and we never got it. So going with the 3:09 p.m. would be accurate, that she's telling the truth about that. So they're still driving home and that looks like it's very close to home. So they're already approaching the house, right? So they get home. She says, the boys come out, unload the groceries and so on and so forth. And then, she has to, the grandma wants help with the planting of these cacti, but she doesn't really call them that. She's like, it's not, she acts like it's a big planting excursion. It's not. It's a little barrel with some cacti on the top of it. And so that's what, 15, 20 minutes, then she has to help grandma with the knee brace. And then she, according to Candace, it's 2 minutes. She had walked Summer towards the house, told the boys to keep an eye on their sister, goes back, helps with this is after the piece of candy. Can't forget the important piece of candy that she gets from grandma. And then she walks her to the house, tells the boys to keep an eye on your sister, goes back, helps grandma with the knee brace. 2 minutes, comes over, and Summer's gone. Well,
yeah, 2 minutes.
3:30 to the timeline around this is definitely questionable because it's 6:00 is when we're hearing that there's a missing kid, but then the initial reports say that somebody saw Summer walking down the street at 7:00, and I'll never forget that. And I don't know if it was a typo, but nobody's ever corrected it that I know of, unless you do. So something happened between 3:30 and 5:30, and that is not enough time accounted for by fixing a brace, unloading groceries, and planting some cactus. What else did you do?
Well, did you see? I'm going to try to come in from my computer. I'm coming right now. Because that sound, I'm getting a weird sound issue.
How's that?
Okay, perfect. So did you hear actually around what you were saying? Molly Golightly had a phone call with Don. And in that phone call, he says that police had a big issue with Candace's timeline and that it gets brought up because he's talking about
the data and how he wanted to go back in the phones and find out the exact timeline, but everything was erased because of the police extracting data. But in this, he like lets it slip out that Candace told police that she forgot she had also made lunch and done laundry. And that right there, I'm just like, come on now. How do you forget? I'm so sick of the lies from that woman and from the changing stories, like you mentioned, the candy. I don't even know that I believe that happened. I'm almost convinced that came into the story because, they went to Sonic that day and we went down there and they give you peppermint. I don't know if there's not certain things of their day that they tried to put in this story to make it seem, like what they called the cactuses was flowers. They were planting flowers. Like they just tried to make things seem a certain way,
right?
Give off this appearance that things were different than they were.
I totally agree. And they make these weird things uber important that aren't. This piece of candy is talked about every single time. This planting of these flowers that are not flowers is talked about every single time. And it's like, what if Dawn is accurate and she made lunch and she did laundry, that doesn't continuously come up over and over and over again like these other things. And so she made lunch, but they went to Sonic, because this was always a big deal to me, is why they never fed her. So they left the house that morning and left the boys at home. And that's also another point of the back and forth that I have a problem with. But they leave the house to take grandma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And according to Candace, they weren't going to be gone very long, so it wasn't going to be a big deal that they leave the boys at home. Well, the hospital you're taking to her is a half hour away. She has to still be seen, and I don't know how hospitals are in Tennessee, but I can tell you where they are, how they are here. And you're not going to just get in there, see somebody, and get out. You're going to be there for a little while, and so you got a half hour there. Let's talk about at least an hour. And we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say at least an hour at the hospital. It's going to be way longer than that, but whatever. And then a half hour back. So you're talking at minimum 2 hours that all the boys are now home by themselves.
Yeah.
And she says that the youngest boy was actually supposed to go with her, but he was still sleeping. So she left him home with his brothers.
I don't know why you would ever take Summer and Hunter and go swimming and not take your boys. That to me is just crazy. Unless you want privacy. It all leads back to the privacy thing. But have you heard the new kind of stuff coming out about the young boy and everything? The first they first released what the FBI removed from the home. This was a while back. Candace and Benny Keys released it, and people were noticing a lot of the things on there were like kids' clothing, medium size, like 10 to 12 size. And then recently there has been a phone call released that was not ever supposed to get on YouTube. What happened, I believe, the way I understood it was put into a Discord and they were talking about it and someone released it out of there that wasn't supposed to. Yeah. And they were saying, if it was, I'm just curious if what part the kids play and if the kids have started to kind of tell what's happened. And I think that they will, especially if they get them to where they feel safe and comfortable. Look at what their life was like before. If they get them in a loving home with where they get their own rooms, their own beds, and they have clothes and a warm meal every night and a hot shower, if they get some normalcy and give them security, they might talk to somebody. They might gain trust enough to tell what happened. And I think oftentimes, like Oren and Orson, the other siblings hold a lot of the missing pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Did you ever get it confirmed if the boys were actually separated or not? Because I know that in my memory, I remember people saying they had been separated and then that other one saying they hadn't. Did we ever confirm one way or the other whether the boys were separated? And I'm just not remembering.
Not confirmed. No. I've heard recently that they were all, this is from someone who supposedly knew they were all where they were and they were all together and doing well, but I don't know that. I don't know for sure. I feel so bad for all of those kids. And then you come to find out that these kids were in the middle of all these drug deals, even if it was just weed. I do believe those kids were seeing a lot of those things happen, like Jody Sue had put out there. Now, I don't.
Okay, so anybody who doesn't know, this last week has been a bit hectic in Summer Wells on YouTube because the neighbor, Jody Sue, created a video or an 8-hour live where she states, and I will not quote it because I do not have it quoted, but it's along the lines of that her ex was supplying drugs to the children or to the parents in order to sedate the children. And then explains that so the children that, and she says there's multiple. So this was interesting to me because I wasn't sure where she was going with that, and I'd have to play the clip, and I don't know if I really want to, but it she talks about like both girls. So they could be, and she was also talking about the older child or the middle one. Which one did she refer to? The older or the middle?
The middle one, I think.
Yeah,
and
that
was
he
it
was
her
also
daughter?
involved. I'm wondering if it was, and that's why I said I didn't want to. I'd have to play it to actually be sure, but I don't. That's why I said I don't know if I want to play it because then it brings in a lot of the summer, train, and I don't know if I want to attract that at this moment. But so that's like the big thing that's happening this week. So then Jody Sue ended up taking down this live, but of course it's being dissected because people had clipped it and whatever else. It's being dissected all over YouTube, so you could easily find the clip of what she actually, verbatim said. So then she's now basically retracting that. Then today, apparently, there has been some speculation that she was actually going to be brought in or questioned regarding that statement.
Yeah. And her ex started a channel. He's already at 2,000 subscribers almost. It's like 1.9 thousand. I saw that today.
I am one of them.
Me too now.
The whole thing is so twisted. It's so convoluted and so twisted that any of these things could be true and any of these things could not be true. Because there's a lot of different types of people involved in Summer's case. And you don't know how reliable any of these people are, and we don't know these people.
I think it's crazy how many suspicious people are surrounding this baby. And that makes me think that the only answer would be, because I'm just starting to lean towards your theory. She maybe was trafficked or something like that. Now, I do think that the parents' drug addiction is going to play a role in that because they're going to have people around that do drugs, that get drugs, that supply drugs, and maybe and I've always thought that could be a reason for the secrecy, some of it, because they're ashamed of whatever, but.
Well, everybody's going to try to save themselves first.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an issue.
I wonder if the delay in calling police that day was because Candace needed to sober up,
Well, so she supposedly looked around and then got in the truck and drove around, which I also found very interesting because if it had only been 2 minutes, how far could she have gone that you'd have to get in the truck to drive somewhere? And it's not like you can drive into all these woods where she would have actually wandered into. So I don't know. That was weird to me. I don't know why she would be driving unless it was longer and she knew it had been longer. Like, oh crap, I haven't checked on the kids in like an hour because I've been sitting outside doing TikToks and smoking some weed.
Yep, exactly.
And then she's like, crap, she could have gone anywhere by this point, and now she's driving around. I would love to hear the 911 calls versus the dispatcher call. I think that's very important. And they both call 911. So they're not on the phone with each other the entire time because they're both calling 911.
And guess what? Yeah, I was talking to Tia when I was going down their road. You don't have any service for like 15 minutes from their house. How did they call? How did they stay on the? How did Don talk to her the whole way, like he said?
Well, so remember, she says something about that she has to use her mom's phone because her mom's phone is the one that gets service there and hers does not.
Yeah. I wondered that if it was just my company, but I'm going back with a different company. When I go, I am going back there because I have unfinished business. And when I do, I'm going to take this new phone, which is AT&T, because I had Verizon. So did Pink. So we know that Verizon has no service from like both ends coming from both ways for quite a while. So I'll try AT&T next, I suppose.
I remember the day she went missing and like the Amber Alert and stuff, and I remember so distinctly like that the story was that the mom had went for a run and come home and she couldn't find the girl, and it was like so,
And
and
then
that was what was I believed the first whole day, and then I saw like maybe the next day, the video like of like the interview or whatever where I saw Candace and I was like, no way.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
when we asked her about that, she said that she doesn't run anywhere. So
Yeah.
she was not running anywhere. So that has to be some form of miscommunication
The
or like
mom went on a jog or the mom went on a
yeah,
run
that was
and
weird
came
because
home.
she's not running anywhere.
Yeah.
You got a better chance of me going for a jog at this
It
point.
could have been a drug run, I suppose.
Ah, well, so that's the big deal too, is because he actually says like right off the bat, you need to talk to the drug dealers.
I know.
And it's like, why do they need to talk to the drug dealers? Like drug dealers aren't typically like, you know,
Why did he
hanging out
say
with a
that?
bunch of kids. Why
Why
would the
did he
drug
say?
dealers want your kid?
Well, remember, he also says Candace had the wrong friends or whatever. Like
Yeah.
she. What do you guys think about the 7 alibis and all that?
I don't I don't think anybody knows when she actually went missing.
Yeah.
So I think that that's where you're going to fall because I'm telling you, there's this 2 hour at minimum time that she can account for like 20 minutes of.
But
Oh,
then
I got a helicopter
recently,
flying
like
over.
it was
Hold
kind of like
please.
recently it was sounding like I forgot like where I got the vibe from, but that the authorities thought that it could have been an animal attack.
Yeah. No, that was in the private investigators. So there's private investigators on the case. Supposedly, Dawn and Candace hired and did pay supposedly an initial payment. Other than that, everything's been pro bono. But they're looking right around the house too, which is interesting to me. But they're the ones who have mentioned they were looking for any signs of animal attack or something. But that brings like remember Suzanne Morphew and if there was an animal attack, there would be some kind of
But
a
then
dog would certainly
I
pick it
looked
up.
up about like what kind of animals are in those hills and stuff, and it's like mountain lions and
Coyotes.
wild like I might be mistaken, but I swear I might have been sick. It was like wild boars or something.
No,
Like
it is. There's wild boars. Yeah.
yeah, and like summer was so small and they barely fed her, and like it's like maybe maybe.
I would
Well, I
just
think that
think
they're
that.
good.
Sorry about that.
No,
I
you're
was
What?
just
fine.
going
Go.
to say, I would think there would be like the dogs would pick up on it, or there'd be some sort of sign of something happening, right? You wouldn't have nothing left of her unless it's possible they could have drug her somewhere, but I don't know. I don't.
Oh, and then one other thing is that I don't know if I've ever talked much about it, but like when it very first happened, and they said I forgot like how it went, but they said that like the neighbors didn't know yet, and that they went around like looking, but in the police scanner audio, when the first cop shows up there, he says, we're going to need some additional help. There's a bunch of neighbors and dogs out here. And that's like what he said when he very first pulled into it.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, Don tries to tell everybody that the dogs weren't around that day. But David says that the dogs were there when he got there.
Why did Don go to the shed before he went to the house? I've always wondered that. When he shows what he did that day, like I
Yep.
believe probably to throw out some dope or something like that. But you never know what he could have been hiding.
Well, I think that there was probably drugs in that shed and he needed to get rid of them before they searched the property.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
So what do you think of the comments about the dogs not being able to hold? I got to take care of a dog, ironically.
I was taking care of a child trying to steal more Oreos. Oreo crazy.
Well, I still think that it's so odd because like the cops showed up there and like Candace had said something like, I don't know, like they didn't know the neighbors or like making it sound like, I don't know, just the way that every that these cops showed up and it sounded like she called them right away when she realized and stuff. But how would the neighbors already have had time to come and be there and
Yeah.
a bunch of dogs be running around like where the cop couldn't even like drive up the driveway? It sounded like, I forgot. I'd have to pull that audio out, but
Well,
Jody
okay.
Sue says that like that when the search dogs came, that they were struggling because her dogs and the Wells dogs were out there, and so they were like having a hard time, and so like she goes to like help search and like climbs into the creek to like get rid of her scent.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, it's so beyond, I couldn't even comprehend it because it doesn't make any sense because search dogs can search water. So I'm not sure, like, I really don't understand.
She said she was afraid her scent would mess with Summers or something stupid like that. I don't understand that either. There's a lot to question there, especially now. It seems like things are getting more and more suspicious. I was gonna say something, but I lost my train of thought. I'll think while you guys chat for a second. No, it's not your fault. I do that all the time.
It was very suspicious to me though. I was like, why go in? Go. You remembered, go, do it.
Okay, so remember, before I forget, you remember when Jose came out on YouTube and was doing all the interviews? He did mention, he says that, well, and Hunter says this too. Hunter said that Candace lost Summer before. Jose said that Candace lost Summer all the time, that Summer would get in the back of Grandma Candace's truck and lay down, and she would, hide in all kinds of sorts of places, and Candace wouldn't be able to find her. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it is interesting. Hunter said the same thing, and I've always wondered if that could have been what happened, and maybe like in that refrigerator there, and nobody found her, and then later someone found her. I don't know. It could have been so many things, but for so many people to be lying, and it makes you think that it involves multiple people, because people are not being honest. But then again, you're not going to be honest if you're using drugs, dealing drugs, those kind of things, because you don't want to get in trouble for that.
Right. You're going to take care of yourself before you care, which is ridiculous. This is a little kid that we're talking about. But if they all know what happened and they know she's gone, then they're not going to have any issues just taking care of themselves at this point. And that's why the story gets so convoluted and nobody can understand what actually happened. LFT says, I want to know what time she knocked on the neighbor's door when Candace went driving to look for her, and if that was confirmed, what the person said to LE.
There's cameras all over. I don't know about that, but I do know there are cameras all over. So a lot, like on the main road, there's big farms that say that they have cameras. There are houses right there. I don't know if they have like the doorbell cameras, but I do know that like coming out of Warriors Park, a lot of the places they went, they're going to have camera footage of it, because there's a traffic cam at the light at the end of Warriors Path State Park that looks like dead into the car. I mean, so I hope that they've got camera footage from the neighborhood and stuff, and maybe we can get something from that.
Well, what do you think of like their 1-year update where they're basically saying they don't have any answers? Do you think they're telling the truth?
No.
I go back and forth. I say that at times. I think maybe they're trying to make people comfortable, and not think that they're onto them. But then again, I don't have a lot of faith in the police and their investigations after the Watts case. After seeing all the ways that the things that they didn't do, they should have done, and you would expect just things like that. Like, for instance, going and getting the camera footage from Nate's house and in time before it was gone, and doing it the right way. I just think that we assume, I'll get it for you. That's it. No, we assume that police will do their job, but they don't always. No, sorry, you guys.
Unfortunately, don't apologize. You're fine. Unfortunately, it's true, and you don't, without the communication with the public, and I know how much they don't want to like let things out. I always say this like about Delphi, and I feel the same way about Summer's case. If you look at the communication in cases like Gabby's case, like you see like how quickly things are resolved, how the community actually, all true crime people kind of came together and ultimately had the same thoughts, the same theories, the same, and the outcome was pretty much lined out for what the cops had said, because they were communicating so well with the public without saying everything. I mean, the biggest conspiracy was whether Brian was actually in that wilderness area or not. Other than that, everybody on YouTube pretty much had the same idea of what actually went down. And when you have like a Delphi or like Summer's case, and there's not a lot of communication, you see there's so many trails to go down, pun intended, that you don't know which direction to go anymore.
Yeah. I get upset about that because it's like the police, I know that they want to protect the investigation. That's fine. They should do that. But also there's a way to do it. Like you said, there is a proper way to do it. And they work for us. They are public servants. They are paid by our tax dollars. They owe us, maybe some people don't feel safe in the area. There's other reasons why they should be telling us a little bit more. I get frustrated with that. I don't like it, but what can you do?
So when you went to the house, tell me about the house. Tell me how you felt around the house.
Okay, so I didn't actually see the house because I didn't want to go up their driveway, but we did pull up to the bottom of their driveway. I'll say this. The first thing I noticed, there are no signs for this baby on Beach Creek Road hardly. Maybe now because people went there after for her 1 year. But at the time, there were signs everywhere down the road for this missing dog. But there were only a couple signs for Summer. And Summer's signs were only at the end of her road, pretty much, like on both sides at the end of Ben Hill. They had 2 signs, and they had like one more sign, I believe. And that's it. And that surprised me. Then how steep it was, because like seeing it on like YouTube, it just didn't, I don't know. When I was there in person, I was like, oh my God, this is not a hill. This is a mountainside. Like I grew up in the mountains in West Virginia. I know what a mountain is. And this is like straight down, and it's big. And not only that, you guys, if she would have came down that mountain, unless she came down the driveway and down the road, she would have went through the woods. There's a creek before you get to the road. It doesn't just go down to the road. It goes down, and then you have this creek that is like going super fast. There's an embankment of like 6 feet straight up and down, then a guardrail, then the road. There's no way that this baby could have climbed down the mountain through all the briars and brush and toys and trash that they threw out on the side of their hill and made it through the creek and then climbed it up that embankment and across the guardrail. So when I went in person, I just knew she didn't walk out of here. She didn't. There's no way. Somebody had to take her out of there.
So Mark says, in my opinion, accident happened most likely, or 5% handed off. I would agree with either one of those. I don't know if I'd go with the 5% because I do believe that she was actually given away on intentionally. But if not, I do believe that there would have been some type of, possibly one of the boys accidentally doing something. But then, like you said earlier, Mark, I think the boys would have talked by now. Somebody would have said something. Or the boys' stories aren't matching up, would be another issue, because maybe the other boys don't know, and so now there's even their stories don't match up, so there's no way to prove any of that either, which is very possible, because in my opinion, I think the boys were separated, and I think they were separated for a reason. But that's just opinion, so take that for what it is.
Now, I do
think they would have talked by now.
I don't know. I guess it depends if you gain their trust. And I think that all really, it depends on the foster home they're in. I think it's it's up in the air for me on my opinion of that. But did you hear about Dawn's sister Sonia, who supposedly went there to visit right before Summer went missing? She is now currently living overseas, and that was another rumor. People thought maybe she was given to her. They said that she hadn't been in contact with the police. Now I know that Evil Exists reached out to her, and she wrote back a little bit, but that's another theory and possibility. I hope that she's spoken with police at this point, but I don't know.
I did think about that when I was talking with Mary, and Mary talked about how they were going to buy. I hate saying that, but they were going to buy, one of Don's older children.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to trade them for drugs. And ironically, at that point, the drug dealer said no, but maybe down in Rogersville, they said, yeah, I don't know. Like that's kind of a weird thing too, but that they were going to buy his daughter.
Sonia was?
No. Mary was.
Oh, okay. Wow.
One of the older children.
I remember him saying that. I remember the conversation around him trying to sell him for drugs, but I didn't hear that. I don't know how I missed that.
Well, that was during one of her interviews. That's what she had stated. Obviously, there's nothing that proves that. It's that's a who do you believe? What that's fine. I'm not going to try to push anybody to believe it one way or the other. But I did think of that because there was the rumor that Sonia couldn't have children.
Yep.
And so that Candace and then Allie had mentioned that Candace did not care for Summer. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that though, because you don't typically record the kid that you don't care about all the time and put it all over TikTok. And she did have a lot of pictures and photos of her kids.
Yeah, she did.
So I don't know if I buy that she didn't care about Summer, but that maybe she was jealous of Summer because Dawn paid a lot of attention to her is possible. I don't know what they would have needed the money for unless there was a drug deal or like there was a debt that hadn't been paid off they needed to pay off. Other than that, they seem to be just surviving, how they were. My other issue is I think they took the boys, obviously for the boys' safety, but I also think they took the boys in hopes that it was going to get Candace and Dawn to talk. But I don't know if they quite realized that Candace and Dawn have both had all their children taken away from them already in life. Yeah. I don't know how much they're going to care about that for very long. They're used to it. They're used to having their children taken away.
Did you know that there is a recording out of Candace talking about a baby that she had taken in between the two sets of kids?
Yes, she does have another child in between those that she was high on meth and gave the baby away because she could not take care of it.
Yeah. And she says in the recording that she what did she say? I think she was working for the carnival at the time maybe, and she didn't have a place, but that's what she said. She basically didn't have a place to take care of it, didn't have a home and stuff like that. But it makes me wonder because they took the baby from the hospital is the way she describes it. And usually, I know in West Virginia, if you have a baby taken, you cannot have more kids. They will take them, even if you go out of state, unless you can somehow get by with that, nobody knowing, but yeah, maybe that's why
we know our child care systems aren't very good, especially across state borders.
Yeah. So. And maybe that's why they weren't on food stamps and stuff. They didn't want to be flag the system and let them know that they had more kids. I don't know. Because they say they weren't on assistance.
Well, he seems like he was working.
Yeah, and they make good money doing. People make good money that do drywall.
Yeah, that's what I said. I forgot who I said that to,
but how can you do that for your job? You literally create walls and paint them whatever color, and how do you do that for your job? And then your baby's bedroom looks the way Summer's looked.
I'm just not understanding how do you do that for your job and then you have all this land. Why aren't you building a bigger home? Even if it's taking a long time, there was nothing ever in the process until CPS came out and said that the two older boys were too old to be sleeping in the same room as Summer, which is why they created that little second room, which, you walk right into and it became the older boy's bedroom.
Yeah.
Why wasn't, you should see things in progress all the time. And especially if she's not working, there's things that she could be doing to like they could have had a very nice, maybe messy or whatever, but it could have been a lot bigger and had room. They wouldn't have had to crawl down this weird ladder to the basement. I don't know. It's priorities are priorities, I guess, and weed and drinking is more important, I guess.
Yeah,
They could
when
even
Toast
use.
Banana crawled in that hole to go down that ladder to the basement, I almost died.
He was trying to get her to go around. He was like, "Can we just go down like the door?" And she's like, "No, my husband does this. You can do it too." I was like, "All right."
He could have used scraps to do. Summer's bedroom was the most pitiful little place, and I found on Facebook Candace, like in November before Summer went missing, was selling all these Paw Patrol toys and an LOL backpack and stuff. Like she sold Summer shit in November. Have you seen those posts?
No.
Yeah, she had this big Paw Patrol tower, which I know that is expensive because a friend of mine has it, and it's like $100 toy that has like a couple different parts, and then a book bag, an LOL book bag, and then a Paw Patrol shelf, like little, like a kind of like a dresser, but it has like the little bins on it. And she had all that posted for sale in November of 2020 on Facebook.
Coolest reviews. You wouldn't actually know that. I know. It says you could still build while drinking and smoking. Not that he knows.
And not that I would know. I'm gonna find
LFT,
that.
thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I appreciate it more than you know. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye, LFT.
Okay, you guys carry on for a second. I have a little person that needs something.
Okay, I'm gonna try to find that post to send it to you guys so y'all can see the what she sold.
I had heard about that, but I don't know. I was thinking like all of Summer's toys to me anyway looked kind of just like how maybe like when you go shopping at like Goodwill and they have like the toys that aren't necessarily like with all their pieces and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
like,
like
how hers looked.
Yeah, like just like those mismatched stuff. So it's kind of surprising. Who would have given her gifts like that? Like if she did have that, so like the $100 tower, or like I know what kind of shelf you mean. Like who would have like bought that for her?
I don't know. Maybe the school or the church or something like that. Or I'm trying to find how I found them. I think I scrolled. Oh, I think I just got it. I scrolled through it on my channel though. We kind of looked at it on there, but I'm going to find it for you guys. But I bet you maybe the church, maybe school, an area like, how places like that will try to help. Oh, I found it. Yes. Okay.
When is Summer's birthday?
February.
Oh, okay. So it's not like she had just got something for her birthday that she was selling. She had it for.
Well, you're saying Candace was selling this after Summer was gone.
No, in November 25th of 2020.
Oh.
She had a bunch of stuff posted in this like a local group for sale. I'm trying to look because like the way that I found it just now was off of her profile under uploads. She uploaded some of the things she was selling. But here, I'll just screenshot that and send you so you can see the kind of stuff, like what it was. I'm going to send it to you right now.
Okay.
So is Candace still there at the house?
I don't think so. No. I don't think so. I think that she has a new Facebook account that says, hold on, Knoxville.
Oh.
Knoxville? I heard that she was down in Arkansas.
I don't know, but it has the pictures. She posted pictures of fishing, and this was around the time she was going on Ernie's channel, actually talking about fishing the first time I saw it. So I do believe it's her Facebook, but she maybe lied where she was, or I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? All right, let me see.
So the house is just abandoned, or like where's all the puppies?
Now the puppies have been the local animal shelter took the puppies, and all of them. And now they've made posts about it. They've said that YouTubers have slandered them, and they've said that they've had offers from all over, people wanting the puppies, but they want to keep them close, and just in case Summer's found so that she can see them. But hey, Days, criminality is awesome. I'm so glad you came. I think you will love her. Both of them.
Days, thank you. Allie is much sweeter than I am, I think, though. So just FYI.
No.
So I just sent you back a picture because that Paw Patrol tower, my son has it.
Oh, okay. Now, how much was it? Like $70 to $100 ish?
It was like a 89 or 99.99. But this is the older one. I don't know how much it would be like to try to resell it. Depending, I guess, if you had like some Paw Patrol collector or something, because it is the older tower.
Wow, that's crazy, you guys.
But it was almost $100 like retail when it was new.
You have all the cars still and everything with it. They don't. I might be in. There's a bucket full of toys.
Well, it's separate. Those are all bought separate. Okay. So just a little side note about me is I like to have everything when it comes to like collections. So I have a hard time. Like, so even though he's like, I don't really care about this Paw Patrol. I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter because you have to have it because now you have every other one and you can't just not have that one. And this is like a problem. Hi, Brittany. I'm so glad that you popped in. So even if he doesn't want all of it, I've by my third kid, I'm getting better about that. But it's not great. I'm a collector at heart. I like to have the entire thing.
Well, I think your kids would love that.
I'm looking at these pictures now too, and those look like boy toys to me, honestly.
Well, they are boy toys. Well, Paw Patrol is technically considered a boy thing, but then they have the girl stuff because they have Sky and everything else. And like, so when you're little, you don't really care.
And Paw Patrol is Summer's favorite, like her most favorite thing in the world. So that's why it's kind of weird that she'd be selling them. And the LOL backpack, she also loved the LOL.
Yeah, why is she selling all of her stuff then? That's weird.
Super weird. It makes you wonder. I mean, now it was probably just for drugs or something. I don't know, but I don't like it. It's weird.
I don't like that she's selling her stuff like that either, especially because, I mean, I would get it if she wasn't into it anymore. Obviously you get rid of the toys that your kids don't play with anymore, but it's kind of weird. You know what I'm wondering? Here's a benefit of the doubt that I'm going to throw out there is if, the third boy was really into Paw Patrol and Summer wasn't. And so they were going to get rid of it. And then Summer got into Paw Patrol. So they kept some of it.
That's possible.
That's why I said I'm going to go devil's advocate on that one. We'll, obviously, I don't know if it.
And maybe she got into Paw Patrol like way later on or something, like right before she went missing or something like that. I don't know.
The date of the post is November 25th, 2020.
I'm trying to find out on the
camera
computer.
So I don't have to go through the whole like sharing of everything. I'm just going to turn my camera on so you guys can see it. So it's like a little the backpack, and then you've got like the towers over here, and then like this little Paw Patrol like shelving. It looks like for books or something. And then some sword, like some boy's sword that's kind of like hanging over that.
There was also like some boys trucks, a big thing. I didn't send
and
everything.
And then there's my son's Paw Patrol tower.
Okay, I found it. Yes, from a post. She sold all of this for $40. You ain't gonna believe this. Oh my God, this just runs all through me. All of that plus more for $30. That's crazy.
That's what she sold all of that for?
Yeah. Look. Here's the post, and I just sent it to you, and then you can see there's a couple photos that you didn't see, but they're just, a tub full of toys and a fire truck, basically. For $40, that's crazy, man. You're desperate, and you got babies I'm trying to get money to buy toys.
Well, and that's true. Candace did say she shopped at a lot of garage sales, so maybe she bought this stuff pretty cheap, and so $40 maybe was good for whatever she paid for it,
Yeah.
Oh, see, and this all looks like more boy stuff. So it's like there's like a bucket of cars. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like a bucket of cars, and then like a big looks like a tow truck or some type of big truck there. It's just she has it for like $40.
And then there's one more I'll send you, but it's got like, this looks like girl stuff than this one because it's got a Paw Patrol truck and a bunch of pink and purple Legos. And that's the one that's that you can't see.
Yeah. That's Paw Patrol again.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually Paw Patrol Mega Blocks or Duplo, because you can see like that's like Rubble's truck right there. Okay. See, I know these things. Don't ask why. Don't ask questions, Allie.
No, I understand. I get it. Don't worry.
Here I am. I'll just spout all the names of the Paw Patrols.
That's Rubble.
That's Rubble's truck. Okay, let me just tell you. Was Summer about to turn 4 in November of 2020 or 5? So Summer was 4. She was gonna turn 5 in February.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she would have turned 5. So now she would be 6 if she's out there somewhere. Okay, so ultimately, I think that Summer's case is just as crazy as it was at the beginning, and it's hard to decipher. And anybody who follows Summer's case, I don't even know if there's enough hours in the day to keep track of the stuff that just happens on YouTube to be able to even understand what's real and what's not, or pay attention to all of it.
There's not, but there's a channel, I don't know if you've seen it, called Evil Exist, and he posts like 2-minute clips. He posts all the new information like in quick clips. I love that channel, and that's where
familiar.
Yeah,
let me find it.
He has all kinds of information. I binge watch his videos when I first found him. You could do that, and you get all kinds of stuff, and he does it quick. So you don't have to sit through a 20-minute video or a live. You get like the most important parts, and he'll link where he got it from.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I just subbed to him. Evil Exists, you guys. Check that out. Okay. So we have some other cases we want to talk about. Yeah. So you followed the Gabby Petito case, correct?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So there's been some new stuff in while I was gone and Christine was moving, that happened, and they released the 8 pages of Brian Laundrie's notebook.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that? Did you guys all read that? Do we need to read through it? Let me the chat. I want to see the chat. I put it on. It's on my community tab, and there's also like a typed up version that breaks it down, so you don't have to try to read all the handwriting on the blue ink.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
Yeah. Ooh, it made me so angry reading that. It's like, you do not think that we're all stupid, right? You cannot think that we're going to actually believe this is what happened. Now, I do think that he was recalling some moments from memory. Like, is it possible that he was carrying her out there after he had hit her or something and he accidentally dropped her in the creek, or, and he heard a splash and a scream, or things like that make it seem like he's recalling moments. And I'm wondering if he's weaved that in there with his superhero story, he's the hero.
What I thought about that was that I don't believe it for a second. I believe she was in that van when they drove by the van, because why else would he jump back in it and shut the door like that, all sneakily?
The door closing. That was always a point.
Yeah, I think that she was in the van right at that moment, because why else would that have happened that way? But
well, and the sandals were out there.
Oh yeah, that's right, and her sandals there. So yeah, I don't believe anything about that letter. But you guys, I'm gonna hop down. My throat is getting real itchy, and I feel like I'm gonna start coughing, and I don't want to do it on the live. So I'm gonna get down.
Feel better.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go take some cough medicine and.
All right, let me get rid of the 3-person.
Yeah, do that.
Oh shoot, I hit the wrong thing. Okay.
All right, love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Love
it's nice
you
to meet you.
Go get a cough drop.
Nice to meet you. Feel better.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh.
She's stuck with us. She can't even leave.
What did you think about the letter? And
Oh, I thought it was horseshit. I thought it was total crap. I was pissed when I read it. I was absolutely pissed when I read it, and I was like, "This is the epitome of narcissism." And I hate using that word ever since the Watts case, but I swear I was like, "This guy, even when he's about to like off himself, still has no accountability for the crap that he did. He still tries to say, like, oh, look at me, I did something and I tried to, I was so sad and then she was in so much pain and I tried to save her." And um so there's a couple things. Well, so they say that there is more confessions per se. Like one is like either text message or voicemail, something with technology. That's what I gathered, unless you guys know more clarity on that now. And hold on, Ursa, I swear. The neighbors are out doing yard work and she just can't handle the noise on the other side of the wall. So
that's okay. I've been interrupting you like crazy with my kids, so
that's why I'm like, that's life. We have lives, and that's kind of how it goes, and they're part of everything we do. And she's a puppy, so even though she's huge. So so there's supposedly the one that's like on some form of technology, and then there's the actual suicide note that we don't have access to yet. We haven't seen. So is he going to change it then? I don't even know if I flipping care, to be honest with you, because the fact that he could even write any of this, and then there's speculation that he didn't even write it, but that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, he was a hero. He's the one he saved her. She was in immense pain and he couldn't call 911 and she'd hit her head. And
oh my God.
I swear, I don't know, this guy, I'm like, you know what? You piece of crap.
Well, you know what? Because of this lawsuit, we might actually get some. Because think about it, when the Petito attorney did his when they first filed, they made a lot of claims in there that I'm pretty sure they have to show proof of to make those claims in the like that, Roberta knew when she knew and things like that. And I'm wondering if when they go to court, we're not going to get to see all that. I think we will. And I cannot wait, because even the cop, like, where is it that they had said, maybe it was the lawyer said that they weren't sure if the parents were going to be charged. He was doing an interview and he said, at first they weren't sure. They're working through some of that. Right after, it was Bertolino that said that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what they actually did know. And how do you feel about that? Like them kind of like possibly even preparing to send him out of the country or something.
I don't like this whole family. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't like the whole family. And I'm all for the fact that they have the constitutional right to stay silent. I totally get it. But that doesn't make you a good person, and it doesn't make you not complicit in what your son did. And I understand. I'm going to go back to that same thing of we talked about with Summer is, if they all know Summer's gone and these people all knew Gabby was gone, their focus isn't obviously to save Gabby because she's gone, right? Their focus is to save their son. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that I've never been in that situation. So, and I pray I never, ever, ever am. And I don't think I will be, but obviously I don't think anybody does, but there's no way that I would ever be able to, as a human being, know that somebody's child is wherever they are and not say a word. So I there's a lot that doesn't add up with these people. That it doesn't make sense. That even this sister was like super confused and not really understanding everything that was happening. And like, what did her, what did her parents know? What did they not know? I don't think the sister was involved. I think she was probably invited in this like little camping, like, say goodbye to your brother, but I don't think she actually knew that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. I'm okay if anybody disagrees, but I think that the parents were selfish and they were out to save their own kid. They did not give a crap about Gabby.
I agree with you, and I wonder because when after he passed and they filed to get that $20,000, that made me think, they were out living across country. They were having to borrow money from Gabby's dad and stuff sometimes just to eat. You can't tell me that he had $20,000 in the bank just sitting there and they were doing that. I don't believe that. I think that after all this happened, they put money for him somewhere.
Right. Well, if he had the money in the bank, he would have been using Gabby's credit card to get home.
Yep, exactly.
It's all bullshit. It's all lies.
Yep.
Like, I don't know why they don't just speak the truth. And at this point, I think there's even like I don't know, maybe it might be too gone at this point, but I'm just saying, like, at that time, even after everything, if they just said, like, we've never done this, like, nothing like this has ever happened to us. We made the wrong choices. We really screwed up. We wanted to save our son. We knew that he was going to end up hurting himself, and we didn't want him to hurt himself. You know what I mean? Like, anything, if they just, like, made a plea to the public, to her family, like, we effed up. Like, this is not something we're trained to do. We don't know what we're doing. We just did what we could, and we made wrong choices, really, really wrong ones. I don't think we'd be here. But I think the fact that they don't want any accountability towards it, and they think that they're in the right, I don't know how they have any friends. I can tell you that.
Well, I know that, I lost my train of thought again. Give me a second. There's like a weird echo sometimes. I don't know if I think that we have to mute when the other one talks or something.
Okay, I don't hear it. Do you guys hear an echo?
Is there like a weird noise sometimes if she's talking and I say something that I don't know?
I don't
maybe
have
it's
it.
just mine. Well, good. At least if y'all don't have it, then I don't care.
Well, I want to make sure they don't have it.
Yeah. Oh, I remembered what I was going to say now too. So when all this was going on, I actually was doing like a lot of those creator interviews, and I had Molly Golightly on and to talk about them protesting and stuff down there the first time they went down. Then they went down again. That was after the first time. Then after that, they went down again. And I will say the one thing, like, I was all for the protesting up until when they found him and people were still protesting at their house and stuff, and they had just found out he passed away. That was the one time I did feel sympathy for them, because I felt like, God, as a parent, I just can't imagine. And then these people are still outside and they didn't do anything to her. They're in the wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't see what the big deal is. Everybody knows the truth. Just fucking speak the truth and let's move on. But in that moment, that killed me for them, because I thought, they didn't want this either. And I wonder too, if he maybe didn't tell the truth in his letter to like, because of them. I've wondered about that too. Or is it just his narcissism and his ego?
Well, I think that his parents raised a narcissist. And so I think that the whole aspect of how they treated him after Gabby's death is exactly why he thought that he could do what he did during Gabby's death and right after, is because that's what he was raised to do. And I feel a very strong comparison to Chris Watts that I'm not going to get too far into because I hate that case. But you think that it's okay, and you think that you did the right thing.
Yeah. It would be fascinating to see you break down the similarities though there in like a specific video. I would love to hear your opinion on why you think the two are similar and how they got that way. That's really interesting to me.
I definitely think it has lots to do with the parents.
Yeah.
Especially the mothers.
The mothers, yeah, they have some similarities with I could see that totally.
Well, yeah, and I don't think we know enough about Roberta yet, but I definitely have that. That's my intuition. Is there's a lot of coddling. There's a lot of coddling. The situation is ironically very similar. With the baby boy and only boy mama issues. Yeah, there's like, I think that the moms have something to do with how their boys ended up being that way. And I have issues with the whole Mustang thing. There's a reason for the Mustang being there, and there's a reason for her being able to go get the Mustang.
Why would you go get it if you think he's out there and may possibly not be it may come back and he's alive. Why would you ever? What, just
How's
to
he gonna
make
get
him
home?
walk further? Yeah, it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mark said, so you're saying he's not in the garden? Well,
I know. I don't think that he was reaching up and his hand was reaching up and she was feeding him through the bottom. No, I don't believe that. Even though I was very interested when that came out, I did look at it like, whoa, what? And I think you learn in true crime that anything's possible. So you kind of look at it and then you're like, okay, no, that one's that.
Yeah.
I'm not going with that one. No, I questioned whether he was actually out there for a long time, but I kept thinking like the cops are out there, they're searching there for a reason. But I was still very confused on what led them to stay there because his phone was at home, which is why they thought he was at home because his phone was still pinging at the house. Because if you remember, the cops do that press conference and they're like, no, we know exactly where he is. Everything is all well and dandy. Don't worry about it. And everybody's like, yeah, I don't know. Something's off. And come to find out, they thought that he was Roberta walking out of the Mustang on the surveillance that they had set up in the neighborhood, which I also found very interesting. Could you imagine if they have that kind of stuff set up like around Summer's house?
Oh my God. I wish, but then again, I don't have faith in the freaking law enforcement.
Well, maybe not local, but I mean, you got TBI that's involved too. But
Yeah.
well, I don't want to go back to Summer. We'll stick with Gabby. Yeah. So I think that the trial is going forward. There, the judge ruled that Gabby's parents do have the right to take this to trial, and they proved everything they needed to. And I watched that whole hearing, and even this lawyer is kind of pompous. I'm like, I know.
Do you think that Brian told mom and dad like before he showed up at home and they were expecting him to come home alone? Or do you think that just like out of intuition and what you think? Yeah.
Do you?
I don't know. I think so. I think probably so. I just know that he cannot admit any fault. So then I wonder, did he give him, maybe if he gave him that story that he put in the freaking confession, but I don't know.
Possibly. Or just, Gabby died and I don't want to get blamed. I don't know what to do. I'm hitchhiking, because I always found it weird that he was hitchhiking and then he turns around and goes back to the van and ends up driving it home.
Yeah. Why would he do that? I don't know.
Because I think they're like, just go get the van and drive.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But then I also wonder why they didn't just fly him home, because they flew him home before.
Hold on just 1 second. My dad's coming through with the puppy. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. Is Allie in a pool room? Just kidding. Let's see. Let me see what Pink Dottie says. Do you think that guy who was videoed walking away from the house was really him? I do. I've wondered that, but there's just not enough. And he's just a tall, lanky, goofy looking guy. I don't know. He's pretty average.
And all the people that looked like him, my friend from high school, her husband, she lives in Florida now, but I sent her a picture at the time. Her husband looks identical to him.
So she's like, oh my gosh, my husband's walking away from wherever.
Yeah. And they live in Florida. So hey,
hold on, my daughter's looking for the dog.
It's okay. I'm gonna take a pee break in like just a minute.
All right, do it. Mark thinks that was most likely him. Hi, TNT. Welcome.
I think it looks like him too in that picture. That's the only one that the only picture, because all those photos were circulating. It's the only one I ever looked at and thought that could really be him, because the other ones, there were things that would make you not think that was him.
Well, I think that there's also the weird, this is totally just, I'm going to go into my little conspiracy land over here. JLR was out there protesting, and JLR is tall, lanky, and pretty ordinary looking, just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm like? So how many other people could it have been? Like, we don't know what the neighbors look like. We don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. It definitely resembled Brian. It resembled him, but I think he drove the Mustang there, and mom was supposed to go pick the Mustang up. But I don't know if there was supposed to be somebody else who picked him up. Like that was like a meeting place for like whoever was supposed to pick him up to take him wherever he was going to be going. And he went in there and did what he did. I don't know if maybe mom and dad knew that he was going to be going out there to do what he did. I don't know. That's the part I don't know.
I don't know either, but I've always wondered if, because where they're at, he could easily hop in a boat and go somewhere. And I've always
Correct.
questioned if maybe that was the plan, because there was also rumors about him and Roberta trying to get a boat at one time. So I don't know. Then you have the new cell phone. She took him to get that new phone. There's some weird stuff there. I do think that we're going to get a lot from this. Even though it's a civil case, I think we're going to see phone records. I think we're going to see the
Oh yeah.
reason that these attorneys made the claims that they made.
Oh yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting, and I think that her parents deserve the answers.
Absolutely. Okay, so can I do a quick pee break and I'll be right back?
Yeah, go right ahead. I'll talk to some peeps in chat. You handle it.
Awesome.
Okay, so what do you guys think about the fact that he writes this note, and then there's supposedly the next confession is in some form of technology, text message, voice message, whatever, and then the fact that there's still a suicide note? Why do you think that the Laundrie's lawyer released these 8 pages but nothing else? And then I want to talk about Roberta's letter. Days, do you have a live at 6:30 tonight? Is it Eastern? What time zone? Mama made him to say it was like Romeo and Juliet. You'll be the hero and Gabby will be the misery kill. Help me say, yeah, I totally agree with you. Checking convict. I totally agree with you. You want to know about the gas, like how he got gas? Well, that's what he was charging on her credit card. Is that what you mean? I think he was still home around the 17th, and they gave him a head start by calling to report missing, so cops and media distracted at his home while he walked in an opposite direction. Interesting. So you don't think he actually went out there, and I don't remember the dates at this time, but I think it was the 13th. Release the biggest lie first. See if they buy it. Yeah, I think that how dumb is that when all that does is piss people off at his clients even more, right? Okay, you guys, Dazed has a live at what time did you say? Dazed 6 Eastern. So in about what is it? About an hour, I think. Yeah, could you imagine planning your suicide with your mom? Well, I almost feel like they were actually planning a fake suicide. And so she was planning that, and then he actually did it. I don't know. That's the biggest part of confusion for me, is why he ended up doing that and not just leaving. I don't think that okay, good. I don't think that he could just, I don't think he would be able to handle the world thinking that he was a bad guy. You know, that same whole Chris Watts, like, I can't be the bad guy. Like, I don't understand why people think I'm a monster. You know, we're talking about like what people think of like why that was the only version of Brian Laundrie's confession, or whatever you want to call it, that they that the attorney released. And why didn't they just release the rest of it?
I know. And will we see that when they go back? We will, right?
I would think so.
Well, now that they've said that it's out there, I mean, you would think that her family would demand that they see all of it, because there could be more to the story that they don't know, you know? I don't know. I don't know with that one.
Okay, so what do you think about Roberta's letter? You know, the one that says like burn it or whatever.
Oh my God. That I'm really interested in. I really want to see that. There's a reason she wanted it burned. It must have been that important. I don't know.
But she was just saying the name of the movie. It wasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, because you write out 16 can't, like, come on. You're not going to just write a name of some random ass movie on a letter to your son like that. Get real. We're not stupid. You wanted it burned. You didn't want the public to see that letter. And I can't wait to see it just because of that.
So Truth and Transparency thinks that Chris is weak and Brian was young. Well, I think that they were both weak. And I think they were both created weak. They were allowed to be weak and never had to be strong. And so
Mom made excuses for him.
Yep. Always. And both, I believe, still would. Would you write the title of a movie on a letter? Yeah, I don't know. Especially around this whole time, like I'm not sure that that's where my mind would be at. I don't know.
No, there is no way. I don't know. I tried to hold on and think that maybe the parents, like, part of me wanted to think maybe there's good in there. Maybe they just, this is not a situation you see yourself in every day. And they didn't want to get him in trouble. And they knew that when he left, he was either going to go to prison for the rest of his life. Something was going to happen. So I tried to hold out. But that whole burn after reading, that shows you right there. I mean, come on.
Well, no, and that's why I said, like, even when all this is unfolding, if after everything was said and done, and they just came out and were like, "Holy crap!" Like, our life was flipped upside down. We made really bad choices, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, but no, they're still like they're like doubling down on it, tripling down on it. Like, no, we're still gonna hold on to the fact that we don't have we don't have to say anything. Like, too bad. And it's like, well, that the attorney's like, well, that was per my advice that they didn't have to talk. And it's like, yeah, guess what? Your client doesn't have to take your advice. So they could have talked. They could. It's been long enough where they could have come out now, and now no, they're gonna let it go to trial. Like, it's because they feel like they can win. This is the problem. They feel like they can win.
Well,
and there shouldn't even be a flippin' win. This shouldn't be about winning anymore. It's about the fact that both your kids are dead, and this is what happened. And you guys all need to like figure out how to heal, and instead you want to go fight. Because you feel like you're right in keeping your secrets and not giving this other family closure. That's bullshit.
I agree. It's heartless. It's, it may be legally fine to be silent, but it's heartless. And at this point, there's really no reason. They could, in memory of Brian and Gabby, they could do a lot to make positive change in the world. If they would be honest about the story and how things happen. I mean, how do you prevent this from happening in the future? Where do you see the signs, like things like that? If they would just be honest and open up, tell the whole story, tell the truth. The story needs to be told, and it needs to be the true story. Take your egos out of it. I guess a lot of the issues that we have, even on YouTube, there's people and their egos. You got to lose the ego, and I think you learn that some if you are doing something like this, like as a creator, because you'll get constructive criticism. You got to learn to take some of that. But I think it's the egos. They don't want to be, like you said, they think they're right. They're justified in what they're doing, and that's that. I have a question. What's your question?
They're also too worried to look evil by admitting their fault in the process. I wonder where their son got it from. But here's the other thing is they look evil and they don't see it. Let's see. Okay. Gabby wouldn't have been found if not for that YouTuber, in my opinion. In fact, why wouldn't people think that Gabby was with him when they found his body? Like, wouldn't they have been looking for two? Well, no, because everybody knew that she didn't come back. I apparently have a bird fight going on.
Yeah, they knew exactly when that Mustang first came into town, the time and everything, and that he was alone.
I'll be right back, Allie. You hold down the fort.
Okay, gotcha. Mark Klein, does that mean? Let's see. Who manages to get witnesses that are social media influencers in some way? That's crazy. That's one of the things. They're like, in the Summer Wells case, they're constantly talking about YouTube, how it could hurt. But look at the ways that YouTube has helped, or social media in general. Sometimes it's podcasts. I mean, people really do solve cases and prove things on their little YouTube channels, and that's just the way it is. She was seen checking out of the hotel by herself. Truth and transparency, Alex Erickson. They knew everything that happened and help him 100%. And they have the type A personality, and that, along with the other narcissistic, controlling, and have to be right issues in one boss mom head big B. Yep, I think you're right, checking convictions. What do you guys in chat think about Do you guys in chat, let me ask you just a weird question. Does anyone in here think that he's still alive, possibly? Gabby Case and the documentary Don't F with Cats both helped by web sleuths. Yeah. I heard of wasn't it a podcast that saved that young girl's? It was like a case that had been cold for like 10 years and a podcast solved it. Oh, I can't think of who it was.
Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about Kristen Smart?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, yeah, that's an old case. That trial's coming up.
Yeah, and how did they find the killer?
Well, they always knew it was him.
Did a podcast like unveil something of that, or?
Yeah, there was some information about like the phone pings, and then they went out and looked at, was it the moms or the dads? And the cadaver dogs like hit, but there was no remains left, like the body had been moved. And so they still haven't actually found her, but they have enough that they have the dad and Paul, both, I think it's Paul and Ruben Flores. Their trial should be coming up. They just got delayed. It was supposed to start, like, I think in like April.
Wow, so it was two of them.
Yeah, it's the dad and the son, because he helped cover it up. So the son killed her, and then the dad helped cover it up.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it was a podcast, my own backyard, or like something like that.
That's so cool. So see, because I was just saying while you were gone, a lot of people, especially when in the Wells community, there's a lot of talk about YouTube hurting the case and stuff. But I was saying it can actually make big differences solving cases. People do it all the time. Regular armchair detectives. Yep.
That was one. And then there's the Up and Vanished, actually helped with the Tara Grinstead case. And I think that there's another one, Hide and Seek podcast, that I think is working on another case of a girl named Brittany. And so what they're doing is they're basically just going to like these towns and they're interviewing the people and talking to them about, you know, what they remember, what they saw, and the birds are still over here fighting in my backyard. They're you know, just getting like information out there, and either those people are answering questions or people are listening to the podcast and going, hey, wait a minute, I actually know something about something, and contacting and calling in.
That's super cool.
So I do think that YouTube and social media in general can hurt cases because of all the utter ridiculousness of the fighting, because everybody just turns out fighting instead of like coming together to try to help figure anything out. There just ends up being a war, and then it becomes the YouTubers fighting with the other YouTubers about who is right about so and so or this, that, and the other, and it just kind of takes a turn for not about the case anymore. But I also think that, like you said, social media is also very good because it draws in people from those communities. It draws in people from the families, the friends that knew these people in the past. And then you can actually, you know, get to know more. And obviously you're not restricted like, you know, cops are on what they can and what they can't do, and what they can and what they can't ask or look at.
Lana said, do you think, this is a good question, I'm curious what you think. Do you think she is found if that YouTuber doesn't catch that van? And if so, when? That's a good question.
I think so. I think that but I don't think so. I don't think it would have happened so quickly. And I think that's where social media played a huge part in it. It was because that YouTuber wasn't even paying any attention, except for the fact that they realized, oh, wait a minute, we were in that same area. Let's see what we've got. And then they go in and they look, and look, lo and behold, they actually have the van in their video. That's why his whole note is bullshit, though, because he's like, there's no service and I couldn't get back to the van. And it's like, the van was right freaking there. It was right freaking there.
Yeah.
And everybody who went out there said they had service.
They actually caught it closing. That's the part that I was like, wow, you got, like, they caught the door closing. That's just crazy to me. I got him. I'm trying to find this little puppy. There he is.
Yeah, the timing was immaculate. And I think that they did a good job, and they were right to go through and look and see what they found. So That's my point is on a case like Gabby Petito, look at all these people who came together to put these pieces together. All these TikTokers who were like, I'm the one who gave him a ride from here to here. The next TikToker, I'm the one who gave him a ride from here to here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, that was insane.
that was crazy.
It was so cool to watch all of that unfold, and then you have like people who fake like they do, you know, gave rides and stuff like that. It's just crazy because there was a rumor for a while going around that one girl was lying. I do believe she was telling the truth, but I think she has inserted herself in other cases. Did you hear about that one? That was the first one I think that came out.
Which one's that?
Was her name Miranda or?
Oh yeah, the blonde one. The blonde one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I believe that she actually was like involved with another true crime case on social media. So when she first came out with her statement, people thought, she's full of it. But I believe that she was being truthful. It just.
Yeah, I think that she was being truthful. I didn't really question it. I know you could just kind of tell by her demeanor that it was not a made up situation, in my opinion.
Yeah, I even took down my video about it for a while because I thought there were so many rumors that it could have been not true. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to put like a fake story out there. So I took my video down about it.
Well, that's a good point, Lana. Like that, like Brian would have never imagined that all of this would have been found or figured out
when he wrote his letter.
Right. So maybe that's why. And then maybe does he figure out that things have progressed and then he changes his story and that's why the story changes? That's a good point. I don't know. I guess we need to know the times. I don't know the times. So I think that'll be a very interesting thing to watch unfold. And I think the information is going to be probably very close to what we assume it is. Yeah. But it will have the concrete evidence to back it up, and the Gabby's family can have the answers that they deserve.
I agree. For me, I think it's so clear what was happening in that relationship just based on the body cam video alone, and having been in like toxic relationships and stuff. I think they were both toxic. They were toxic for each other, and he lost it. And they probably, I'm sure that they both fought each other, but I think that he just took it too far. I don't know, because she does seem so scared and timid, and she's definitely the victim and he's the abuser, it seems like, in my opinion. But also we know that she hit him too and stuff, so that's why I say I think that they were both a little bit toxic and just spun out of control.
Yeah, I think that he was definitely, this was not a first time of abuse.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll watch that unfold, and then I want to talk about Harmony's case.
Okay. Oh.
Harmony's case is extremely intricate to me, way more than these other two. Just because I think with Gabby's, I think everybody kind of understood what had happened, and then Summers, it's played out a lot of social media with a lot of fighting. But with Harmony's, I think that it's very interesting because she was not reported missing for so long.
Yeah. Oh man, that one I have a huge problem with, because I'm sorry, but she was in the system. She had been through foster care and stuff. There is no reason that child, it should have taken that long. Not only that, she was actively on someone's like assistance from the state. And I just have a huge problem with that. And it's similar to that Oakley Carlson. She was also in foster care and had been placed back with her parents, and it was a year or so before she was reported missing. I think COVID played a huge role in that. These kids are not going to school every day. But God almighty, I don't know. There is a lot to it. And I told you the other day, remember, there's, her dad, he's got a past too. So
well, yes. So I don't understand, and there was a lot of talk about like how CPS failed, but then come to find out, I think it was a few months back, they released that the CPS actually recommended that Harmony not be given back to her dad, and the judge said no, she's going back to her dad.
Well, I think they only failed in the fact that after she went there, they weren't keeping a close check on her. Because you would think for a while after a parent gets a child back, just like with Oakley Carlson, these parents, like a lot of them are addicted to drugs and stuff. You need to be watching closely and make sure that everything's going smoothly. That's what I think, and they weren't, obviously, but um, or I agree. I didn't know that. I actually had never seen that. That's the first time I've heard that about
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to find that so I can send it to you. Otherwise, it'll just be hearsay up until
Yeah.
I can prove that's what was said. So you guys take that as a grain of salt. Don't go running around saying that. And then I'll find where I heard that from. But unless you guys happen to know somebody in chat. IBR the star. Harmony's case is devastating with COVID during my adoption. In-person check-in went to virtual. There was no home inspection. Monica, are you serious? That's crazy.
I'm gonna take a picture of that because I want to remember that. That's insane. That's what I'm
crazy.
saying. And there was another one I covered like about a year ago. A similar situation. It's happening all the time where kids are being either killed by the adoptive parents, that are foster parents, Orrin and Orson West. The one I was talking about was Victoria Rose Smith, a little girl. Her her adoptive mom was on Worst Cooks in America, but she was abused and murdered. It's crazy. That's crazy. All CPS visits went virtual. Oh my God.
I don't even know what to say about that. That's like nuts to me. I'd understand like for the first like couple of weeks or whatever, but like for long term. Well, we talked about this on lives prior that when the lockdown happened, one of the things like my husband and I talked about a lot was what is going to happen to these abused women, abused men, and abused children that are already being abused and they have everybody's locked down. You have nowhere to go. You have nobody that you can see. Nobody's going to see all these things that are happening to you. These children have no outlets, no mandatory reporters. There's no teachers that can see them. There's no nothing. And Harmony was in school. And then when she moved states, they never enrolled her back in school. So there was no school that was missing her. And that is crazy. And I know that there was a lot of laws being worked on about like the interstate CPS and the communications and how things need to be when a child is moved out of state. There should be a lot more follow-up with that, obviously, but this child never went back to school.
See, that's when I've been on Medicaid before. When you are on assistance, you have to put what school your kid goes to. There is no reason that's why I think the state in general, maybe not CPS, maybe not the judge, maybe all of them combined, but they have failed her completely. It's so sad. Why do you think? Okay, I want to know what you think about the most recent search.
Okay, so that search was crazy, and I was actually watching it with you. I watched it on your channel. That was I don't even know what I think. Because then there was like the whole fridge thing that was going in. They took out some flooring. My only thought really was that they obviously found something there that needed to be tested. So, for example, they luminol something and there is blood, and it's tested to be positive for blood. So they have to take it. Does that mean it's Harmony's? Does that mean it's something else? Somebody else's? I don't know. There was the whole thing about the fridge going in. There was speculation that, at the time that this was all unfolding, that they're bringing it in to put like to evidence in, but you don't typically bring in an entire refrigerator with a freezer. Like that's not. I've never seen that in any case I've ever followed. But then it kind of came out that it was a replacement fridge for the person that they were taking their fridge from their apartment, and they had to replace it because you can't just take it. Which I also found weird because I know many cases where people have had search warrants served on their homes, and cops take flooring, they take walls, they take all kinds of stuff, and they don't go in and fix it. So I'm surprised they would replace anything, but that was another crazy thing to me. But if you go back in the timeline on Harmony there, and I'm not going to remember the dates off the top of my head, but they lived in the house, the grandma's house, and they squatted there for a while, and then that's where the fire was, and they leave, and he goes back because he says that there was an odor and he left the door open. Remember? Because then there's the neighbors call the cops and they have the door open. And this is going to sound extremely grotesque, so I apologize to anybody in chat that this might offend, but I do believe they left her there. I do believe she was there, and I do believe that they went and got her and moved her. And I believe the fridge comes into play because that's probably where they put her before they knew what to do with her or where to put her. And so I think that the reason the floor gets taken is because, like I said, this is going to be really grotesque, but there is, there's decomposition that is happening in these bodies, whether they're in a fridge or not. She wasn't in a freezer. She's in a fridge. There is decomp that's happening. There is stuff that's going to be around that refrigerator, and there is stuff that's going to be in that refrigerator, whether you clean it or you don't. And I think that they moved her to this apartment, and I think then they took her from there and put her wherever she ended up being.
I think that you're probably right, and I'm wondering if someone has talked for them to know that much. If maybe the wife, the estranged wife or something, because what if they did that, and then what if she was in the sewer or something, and she's told the cops everything, and they've went back to get evidence of that so they can charge him eventually. And maybe that's why they were looking with cameras, because maybe she moved because, in the sewer, it's possible that she could move further down and they couldn't find her. I don't know. It's so gross to think about. And that precious little baby, I spent so long looking through her pictures and like doing thumbnails and stuff like that. And it's just like, God.
Her little face with her little glasses.
Oh, I know. And just like
her little lazy eye.
She's so cute. And
she's so stinking cute. Well, these kids they're all so stinking cute. And I think that like, you're just like, they could have had such a different life. Could have had such a different freaking life. Like, these parents are so selfish. If you don't want them, there's so many people who will take care of the children. And I get that we also have the circumstances in foster cares and adopted parents like Orrin and Orson, where it's not the benefit. But I'm just like, I don't know. Do they have a better chance out there? It's such a twisted thing. It's like the whole thing needs to be revamped and re-looked at. And it's like, we don't take care of our children. And then we wonder like what world we're leaving our children in. Because there's so much other craziness and crazy shit that happens in our world. It's like, we can't even guarantee their safety. I think that's why I'm like so attached to the kids' cases, because they just have such a different opportunity to live a different life. I feel bad when parents, there's a ton of these come from like generational traumas. It's generation after generation that their families are just fucked up. And then now and most of them know that. They know their childhood wasn't normal, yet they still allow their children to grow up in that environment and they don't change it.
Well, it's like you want to like wrap your arms around them and give them that security and protect them, or just that they never got. And you can't do that. So the best thing you can do is be out there fighting for them, making sure people know what happened, and digging into it and making sure there's justice and helping prevent it from happening in the future. Because with more knowledge and awareness, that's how prevention. So
right, but it is tough because then you can't go back and change the things that have already been done, and so you live in a conundrum when you cover true crime because of the fact that you want to help these children, but it's obviously too late to help these children.
Yeah,
and so you want to help the other children so other people can recognize when things are wrong. You live in such a like. We're not detectives, so we can't go out and necessarily solve the cases, but we do want to bring awareness to the cases so anybody else who's living in these types of situations knows that something is off and to pay attention because something is off. And if you see something, say something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
do you think that do you think the estranged wife, do you think she's talked to investigators? Like trying to get. I
don't. I know Michelle does. I don't necessarily. I don't think that she's working out any deal. I think that there's a reason they didn't search this apartment to begin with, and that wouldn't have had anything to do with whether she talked or not, because they could have got a search warrant for it to begin with. So either the cops failed and didn't get the search warrant, or they were lacking a reason to get the search warrant and finally got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if did she just happen to say something that pointed them there? I don't think she's working out a deal because I think we'd know by now.
I have to think something because it's so specific, like the sewer, and you know what I mean. But it's
There's
odd.
something to do with arson. They brought in cans, which are typically
Yeah.
arson cans.
Michelle, you are so pretty. My goodness. I love that picture. It's very pretty. Got pretty eyes. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we have to wait and see, and I hope that we will soon. I wonder if we would know by now. They would have charged him by now, you would think, with a witness like that, especially if they got the evidence that they needed. And do you remember when they took the air sample from Casey Anthony's trunk?
Yep.
And I thought about is it possible that they could have done that they're doing that in the fridge, or, they could, if she was stored there, could they find out by doing that? The air sample.
Maybe. I just don't know. I don't know length of time, especially with now you have so many other people who've been in and out of that apartment.
Yeah.
And then, they take all this evidence, and it does, as much as we want to think that it's quickly tested, it just really isn't. They can, have it expedited with the FBI and things, but it's still not always. Yeah, that was Dina. That was the paint-looking cans. Those are typically for arson evidence. So did they find something that had been burned and needed it? I don't know. That's why I'm saying I think they transported her from the old house to this apartment, and then whatever happened from that point on. I do think both Kayla and Adam are responsible. I don't think that there's one. I don't think there's just one. I think they both are. And that could have something to do with they could have brought something from that fire, that happened at the house. They could have transferred that over to the apartment. Yeah. And that's why they took in the cans for the fire evidence. Sorry, I know I missed a lot in chat because I was getting on a ramp. I had to get off my pedestal because I was getting all high horse.
No.
Let me get back into chat.
Didn't they say though that when he opened the door to prop, because it smelled I swear, did someone say that it smelled like death?
They said it. I know there was an atrocious smell. I don't remember exactly what I think I have the police report, but I don't have it handy. But they said it was a terrible smell, and that he said something like, I think he said that was like, oh, he had to air it out because it had a smell to it or whatever.
Yeah, if you find that, if you come across it next time you're working on this case, will you send it to me?
Michelle probably has it handy, knowing her.
My God. I know you also put Dylan Rounds on the thumbnail. Now, I don't know that much about it, but hey, Margot, I wanted to talk to you about it and see what you thought. I've been watching some. I just don't know enough to have an opinion.
It's twisted. And there's been so much that's even happened in the last couple of days. It's now the case that's very hard to keep up with because there's a lot happening. But it's just like these cases just turn into so crazy. They turn into so crazy. So with Dylan's case, he basically he's 19 years old. He's starting his farm off and away from his parents and doing his own thing. But there's all these older gentlemen that are around that area that he's hiring as farmhands, basically. They're all at some point getting arrested because for all different reasons. But these are the same people. So, okay. So let me try to backtrack here and go date wise. So Dylan talks to his grandma on the phone on Saturday morning and, says, I got, it's going to rain. I got to move my grain truck. So he's like, I'll have to call you back later. And he supposedly goes to move the grain truck and nobody ever really hears from him again. That afternoon, his phone does have a data ping that the police have released, which was not next to his house, but basically on his farm area. The grain truck was moved in to, a shed area. And now all these older gentlemen, so grandma can't get a hold of him and doesn't know where he's at because he never calls her back. Mom and dad can't get a hold of him. And so grandma calls these farm hands that, have worked on this farm for, a while, and they go to check. They can't find him. His truck is there, but it's basically I'm trying to give you the short version of a rundown here. Yeah. And the truck has been cleaned. when it should be kind of muddy. The seat in the truck has been moved forward. Some think it's because the driver was very short. Dylan was like, don't quote me, but it's like 6'4", I think, or 6'2". He was tall, and the seat has been moved up closer to the steering wheel, and the truck had a transmission replaced like 6 months prior, and it no longer would go into 4-wheel drive, and the truck was found in 4-wheel drive. Then his boots are found basically by some random dirt pile, and his mom states like these are his boots that he wears all the time. Like when they get old, he literally buys the same exact boots. He wouldn't just have his boots off outside. It wouldn't make any sense. Now these older gentlemen that grandma had called are getting in trouble for. I'm sure you've seen like the James Brenner, I believe is his name, has been arrested for having guns, but he's a felon. He's not allowed to have guns, so they've arrested him. He was actually so we have found out that he was actually the Jim that was with Dawn when grandma called. So Dawn and Jim are the two guys. And then in Jim's arrest affidavit, there is a guy who he had supposedly given his guns to. I thought they said 5'10". Katie, you could be right. I just remember he was taller. And and I have like 12 cases in my head at the same time. So I remember he was tall. And I thought he was over 6 foot. So you might be right, Katie. I can't. That's why I said don't quote me on that, because
I do that all the time.
I know when I know something, and I know when I'm like, that could be this or that could be something else. But he had given these guns to this other guy to hold because he knew that the cops were like doing searches, because he was squatting in a trailer on the property, and they refer to him as DH, the guy he gave the guns to. Well, DH is actually Dawn. So Dawn and Jim are the guys that grandma had called to check on him.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have that whole thing. You have a whole nother family, the Wadsworths, that have been friends with this family. Kurt is, I think, the oldest of the brothers. Don't quote me on that, but he has been known to cross-dress. There's this whole crazy I don't know, crazy thing about these nights this is like Michelle's like, wait a minute. Michelle's like, this is like, I know all this stuff. But so they have like these slumber parties, I guess you want to call them, where everybody kind of goes into the trailer and they like cook and I don't know, hang out, I guess is what they hang out in quotations. So then there's like all this speculation that Dylan's gay, but then I'm like, does that matter? Like, are people considering this a hate crime? Is it important? I don't know. And then this Kurt guy is like 60 years old and is a potential cross-dresser. Then you have
Wow.
Yeah, there's like a lot of different weird players in this whole thing. So let's see. I know that. So James got arrested, Robert got arrested, and Chase got arrested.
Oh my God.
And these are all three people that have played a role in this time frame right around there. That's why I'm like, there's so much happening. And then, so mom and dad are divorced. This was dad's family, dad's dad, so grandpa on that side, buys him Pink Dahlia, you're funny. I don't think I even could. They're having like sleepovers. They were like slumber parties. So grandpa on dad's side basically buys him this farm and doesn't tell mom that he bought him this farm. And so there's like a disconnect between mom and son. Robert, Pink Dahlia, Robert got arrested. And then James. Oh, you wanted me just to repeat that part. Okay, I thought you wanted me to repeat that whole thing. I was like, I don't even think I could at this point.
That's what I thought she meant too.
Right. That's why I'm saying, like, checking convictions, I totally agree. The only reason it matters is for the victimology of who could potentially be involved in it.
Yes.
Or if it's a hate crime. Other than that, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I feel like people are really harping on the fact that this kid could have been gay. And I'm like, if it isn't imperative to what happened to him, I feel like we're almost like bashing that, and I don't want to go to that place. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like there's a fine line there. If it matters, I totally agree it should be discussed, but I feel like it's being overly discussed. So I'm just going to state that there's rumors that he, is gay, and that could potentially have something to do with something. At this point, I don't know. So dad's family is well off. Mom's family, not so much. And dad's family hires this PI, Jim, who is now making the rounds on YouTube because mom files like a cease and desist to get this guy off of the case and does not want him working it because she feels like he's fudging it all up. But then the other side is there's people who think that he's actually doing a good job in finding, but he's a little what do you call him, like crass, so people are like we don't. And once he rubs people the wrong way, but I'm very firm on just because somebody rubs somebody the wrong way doesn't actually mean that their information is incorrect. So that's important. We may not like his personality, but that doesn't mean he's wrong.
I saw a clip with him on Zav's channel, and I actually watched the live, but I clipped one part because I could not get over how disrespectful he was to her. He was harping on the gay thing, but then at one point, he's answering a question in the chat, and she's like, "Huh?" She gets confused, and he's like, "Are you even watching your own show?" And I'm like, "Oh my God."
She doesn't watch her chat though. That's not really fair. Zav doesn't really watch her chat much.
Yeah, he was so rude to her, and it's like, dude, she's so. I mean, come on, if you can be rude to her, she's kind to everybody.
Yep.
Then she didn't do nothing. But I think that you're right. Just because he's an a-hole doesn't mean that his information is bad. Well, then I know Bullhorn Betty had a live about him. I was actually watching this. She has a call-in number, and someone, because she titled it about him, so I clicked. And she's sitting there talking, and he calls in. And they start going back and forth, and she's like, "What state are you in? And are you licensed?" And he answers her, but she's talking over him. So she's like, "See, you can't answer me. You can't answer me." Like he tried to answer like 3 times, but you got to watch that, and it's kind of sketchy. But she's trying to say now that he is not, because you don't need a license in certain states to be a PI, but you do need a business, I believe, a brick and mortar in that state is what she's saying. And she says he doesn't have that. So she's going to take this as far as she can against him. So you'll have to go check that out. I could probably find the specific video where he calls in. That way you don't have to go through searching. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. And I thought, look, then I went to another channel where they had people on, families that had worked with him in the past who were speaking out against him. And so I don't know. I think it's gotten really crazy with him. And I think that he is part of the reason that it's turned so chaotic. And also, he's harping on the gay thing a little bit too. And I noticed that on Zav's live. He just kept on and on about it. And he's like, "What? Why does it make people uncomfortable? He is gay. He's gay, gay." He said it like 100 times. And finally, it was just like, "We heard you. We know."
But I think that's the thing. That's the one thing I'm like, I don't know why that constantly comes up in conversation unless he's leaning towards that something happened to him because people found out he was gay. Because there is, like I said, there's a lot of talk about it, but I don't see any tie to anything yet besides just understanding the victimology. So, okay, so he's gay. Nobody cares if he's gay. Maybe his mom does. But
yeah,
other than that, I don't know. Nobody's leaned towards anything. So it's like you got the Wadsworth brothers who are very different, and they seem to be playing a big role in this. And then you've got James, Don, and Robert who are playing some type of role. So this same type of situation is, do they all know what happened? And now everybody's just kind of covering their own ass. The whole thing is just very, very strange. This kid's basically vanished. There's no signs of death. There's no signs of life. There's no signs of that he left on his own. There's no signs of basically anything except for this dude's shoes are there. But then, Michelle and I, when we were talking about this on our live on Friday, we were like, did he get a new pair of shoes and nobody knew? So yeah, he left the old shoes outside because maybe he has his shoes.
Yeah, and they're covered in mud or dirty or something.
I don't know. But they did say that they found a speck of blood on there, on the boots. That was the initial, but that, a speck of blood is a bloody nose. Have they tested it? We don't know any results. Yeah. There's not this is another case. There's not a lot of communication from Ellie. They're not doing like press conferences, so we're not hearing what happened. He frequented this bar that was like 20 minutes away that apparently is like known for like gambling and things like that. Was there something tied into this that, and that's, I think it's on like the Nevada, like right. It's right on because all this is like on the Nevada border. So, then they had to like fight. He's 19.
Wow.
Hold one second. I have a kid coming.
Okay. I just find him to be so young to have all that, like taking care of a farm by himself. That's bizarre. That's a little bizarre, but I mean, it's awesome. He has must have like a lot of work ethic, but
Well, he's been doing this. He would go to this farm like every summer, and that's when farming season was anyway. So he would go. He doesn't live there full time. He lives there during farming season, and then he would go home.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
So, but this is like what he's been doing, like his whole life. He's been, he just has been a farmer. So that's like his passion and the thing that he wants to do.
Well, I bet you in those circles and in a community like that, people are not as forward when they come out of the closet and they, you know what I mean? Think about it. Like, cause I've come from a country area where there's a lot of farming and stuff, and people are not as accepting. They're not as, they're just not. I think they get stuck in their ways. You got all these old farm, like kind of like his mom seems to be a little bit, and I don't know much. That's just from watching like a little bit. It almost seems like she's like, oh no, he would never be like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
So the mom is taking a lot of heat. And so we were kind of talking about this on Friday too. The mom is taking a lot of heat. Is she kind of all over the place because obviously her kid is missing? They seem to have somewhat of a strained, not overly strained, because they still talked all the time, but he didn't necessarily confide things in her. Like that he had given this dude Chase a ride. He said that Chase had wanted a ride, but he wasn't going to do it. And then he ended up doing it, but didn't tell his mom. So there's a lot of, speculation. The mom is supposedly is saying that he's not gay or is not going to accept that he's gay or along those lines. And then now mom's ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend comes out and talks to the PI and is saying that, mom is a drunk and mom does money laundering and all this stuff. I'm not really sure if that has anything to do, once again, to do with this, or if that's just to say, to talk about mom because, that's the ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend. I don't know because I don't know any of these people, but it's going to be a pretty convoluted mess. So if it's something that you want to kind of pay attention to, I would hop in right now because it's going to be too hard. It's going to be one of those that's going to be too hard to catch up on. CDT and Amber, I think both are covering this. I've watched some of CDT stuff. I think she has a live tomorrow on Dylan. Make sure somebody drops CDT's link, please, because I think she has a live scheduled for tomorrow. And just trying to keep like the updates because this is going to be one of those that especially if this young man is not found soon, it's going to be very hard to keep track of what's actually happening and who's who and what's what, because there's a lot of players and there's a lot happening on social media regarding it.
Well, I don't know that I'll cover it. I'm kind of like, I feel like, but I might a little bit. I definitely will watch and pay attention. I do know that, this is kind of like with summer when you got these people that go missing and it's a rural area, rural area. I can't say that word. It's so hard to pronounce, but anyways.
Rural? Yeah, I hate that word. Yeah. Rural. You can't say it more than once because it's one of those words that turns into sounding really stupid.
Yeah, you're like, wait, did I say that right? Is that even a word?
Yeah. Is that even a word? I gotta look it up now. I don't even know. And it is because you've said it your whole life.
I hate that. That is so funny. But yeah, there's a lot of places to hide someone. There's a lot of ways to get rid of someone, mine shafts. When we were out there with Summer, you look around and you're just like, oh my God, like she could be anywhere. There's so much, right? Especially this time of year, everything's overgrown and lush and forests are full and trees are big and I don't know.
But if you wait till fall and you wait till winter, then you're going to go into flooding and you're going to go into snow and you're not going to be able to search then either. So but the thing is like where he's at, it's very vast. It's very open. There is a lot of places. So there is a channel called the Mob Crew, he keeps taking his drone out and just flying over and looking. He looks in the shafts, looks, just across the ground. Michelle actually turned me on to him and he's doing a really good job. So you can kind of see the area, you see what they're actually working with. The thing is like they cannot pinpoint a time that this kid went missing. Besides the fact that the last digital ping off the phone that they're releasing anyway is around, I don't have the time in front of me, but it's like 3:41, I think, in the afternoon, right around there. And there's no activity after that. So like, but nobody shows up to, like, nobody's calling the police till Monday. So where they could have taken this kid, what they could have done with this kid. So that's the other thing, is this Kurt guy calls in and says that he knows where he is, calls the police and says he knows where he is, and that they have him captive in like 200 miles away or whatever it was. And so the cops go there and look, and there's nothing there. But now Kurt is like involved in, he's one of these brothers.
Oh,
that's why I'm like,
Why
it's
would you
so
say
much.
why would you ever call police and say that? That is, and of course, did they look where he said?
Yep, they looked where he said. There was supposedly no evidence of any of that. And he ends up calling into, I think it's called True Crime with Jesse? Somebody quote me, or somebody fix me if I'm wrong. Fix that if it's wrong. I think it's called True Crime with Jesse. He ends up calling into there and basically saying like, "Hey, Dylan's my friend, and I just want to figure out where he's at, and I'm just trying to help." But then that looks super sus, because he's the one who calls in and says XYZ. But then you've got the guy that's like squatting on the property, and that's too loud, baby. You need to turn that down. Squatting on the property, who's hiding his guns, and is he True Crime with Jess? Thank you. Hiding his guns, and then there's the guy he hid the guns with doesn't come forward with all the guns at first, and comes forward with another gun later. I don't know, but I'm telling you, these like 6 players around this are pretty important. And Mom's history, I'm not sure how important that is. So I think they want to dig into Mom. I don't know how much it plays into anything missing that has to do with her missing kid.
I would love to see you interview her.
The mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done a lot. She's done a lot of interviews. I've thought about it, but I don't know. It's so hard because there's part of me that always regrets like interviewing people in Summer's case, and then there's part of me that's happy that I did and got like some of the first interviews, so that that information was out there quickly. Because you're in a catch-22 with are you hurting things by having people on saying more, or are you helping? I don't know. So I live with that kind of like, I don't know.
I believe that you're helping, because think about it. You are getting them recorded saying what they're saying, and these people have changed their story so many times that it can only help. I get what you're saying, but you're helping. You're definitely not hurting things. Think about it. They're doing these interviews anyway. It's just that I think that you're very good at them, and you have a good way with talking to people. Hell, even when I came on here, I felt like I known you my whole life. Like as soon as we started, or forever.
I don't know. I told you this when we were talking. Like I've always felt like a connection to you. Like you're just so, your heart is so pure. I don't know. It just makes, it's like an automatic trust. Like there's an automatic trust, because I feel that way about you. I don't know how to explain it to people, but
I feel the same way with you. Like I said, it's like I knew you. It's so easy to talk to, and that automatic trust. And I think that she will feel, you can feel your energy and feel that. I just think that you do an excellent job, and that's why your interviews are so good.
I've talked to Michelle and said, I would talk to Jim, the PI, even if he is a little crass. I'm good. I've dealt with crass people in my life. And then, I would love to talk to Candace. It's tough because it's going to be hard, because I think Candace is dealing with a lot, and then she's going to have all these people that are going to be going at her. And then it's like, she's going to feel the need to defend herself. And, what is that going to do to help find her kid? I don't know. Like, that's just such a...
Hey, he puts his phone number everywhere.
Jim? Yeah, I know.
To get you an interview with him, because he wants to do it. He's he's willing, I'm sure. That'd be awesome.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to text him and be like, hey, by the way, I'm a YouTuber, and my friend has a YouTube channel. Would you be willing to come on there and talk to us?
I think that I think that they have some good information, and whether people like them or not, it becomes irrelevant, because I do think they have good information, as long as they don't muddy the waters. And I don't want to go at Mom personally, and I don't think anybody should. And for whatever her past was, or whether she cheated on her ex-boyfriend or not, like, it's absolutely irrelevant and shouldn't even be a topic.
Yes, completely agree. It is irrelevant. It
He
has
wants to
nothing
make sure that you have his PayPal posted while he's on. I mean, I have no problem with posting it because I know that people will either pay to it whether they want to or not. So whatever. That's not. Who cares? I don't know. That's an interesting.
That's funny. Yeah. Okay.
That's interesting. But I mean, I guess here's the thing: is like this. Is this like his job at this point? Ringo, Jim definitely muddies the waters. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Hey, come here.
It kind of feels like he is, and from what I've heard, I do believe that he uses social media to find clients and for marketing and that kind of stuff. So him going on, being out there is probably good for his business. I've heard that he will go, and it'd be great to ask him some of these questions because now there's so many rumors flying. I mean, there's a channel, they were saying that he goes into missing people's groups and finds these families who are desperate looking for someone and charges like $2,500, finds an answer or two and moves on to the next. There are so many I think there's a lot of good questions that we could think of for you to ask him and see what he says. And I'm sure he would be okay because the fact that he is a straight shooter, hey, there's a lot of stuff going around and I think he'd answer them. I do.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I don't know how much I don't know. I go back and forth on this stuff. I don't know. I like talking to you guys because then it's like, it's just kind of chit chatty versus like trying to figure things out because like Ringo said, I highly suggest you do your research. And so I have looked at it and I've looked at people who supposedly had him doing stuff for them that like the guy and really appreciate what he's done for them. And I've also seen the opposite. So it's I don't know. That's why I said he is crass, but is his information wrong is really my point. I don't care about the personality. I care about the information.
Well, what did he say that he thinks with Dylan? Did he give any kind of opinion or?
He's kind of changed throughout what I've seen, but I know he's pretty much on interviews like on the daily, and I can't watch that much. So, Michelle might be better. She may know more of the current, but because there's a whole other theory out there about this group of it's gonna blow your mind, Allie. It's gonna blow your mind. That it's like a little, what do you call them? Like not a gang. I can't think of the right word. It's a little like militia. That's not the right word either. Michelle, put it in the chat, please. Ringo, absolutely. Absolutely you can. Or you can email it too. Because I know when you post a link in the chat, it won't highlight the hyperlink, but maybe one of if you could point one of the admins in the right direction.
The group, those guys in jail, some of them.
Thank you. Like a little vigilante group. And so there's like a little group of them, and it's this alpaca farmer came out and said that there's human hunting that's happening in this area. I told you it was going to blow your mind.
Alpaca farmer is already bizarre, and then human hunting. Oh my God! Wait, didn't Dylan say he gave someone a ride that was all bloody and stuff?
Yes, that's Chase. So that was on the 25th. He gave this guy a ride, but then apparently Chase came back. We don't know how he got back, but then on the 28th, on that Saturday, he was seen on some type of surveillance 200 miles away. So he supposedly he left the 25th, has come back, no idea how he got back, and then he left again, and was seen on surveillance on the day that we think that Dylan went missing, which was Saturday.
So he wasn't bloody from like human hunting or anything then, but that's just
no, but he didn't have any freaking shoes on either.
Oh my God.
He didn't have shoes on. There's all these shoes that are like coming up. There's all these shoes that are missing and people don't have shoes. And
the conspiracy theorists will go crazy about that because they say that, you know how people talk about those psyops?
Yeah.
And shoes are usually like a huge part of that. It's like a symbol that they say is used in the psyop in all of them.
Well, I think that if you look on YouTube and you look up the Dylan Round psyops, there's already videos on that.
Oh real. My God. Trust me, Alex, I am. Pink Dahlia, I know. She is a
So,
conspiracy
This is the day that Kurt and Chase got into a fight, and Kurt kicked his ass. Say that 5 times fast. Kurt kicked his ass that day, and that's why he was all bloody. And he asked for a ride. And then this is when Dylan tells his mom that he did not give him a ride, but then they ultimately find out that he really did, and he just didn't tell his mom about it.
Oh my God. This is crazy. That human hunting, that is scary. But you know what? I swear, I've seen since like I've always been a true crime fan, but since like doing TikTok and YouTube, I have seen such a side of like this dark side of society that you don't really think about exist. And I would not put it past, I would not be surprised. I mean, it's crazy and bizarre, but also I would believe it because you hear crazy shit all the time, that
Dude, could you imagine if it comes out that this dude went missing because of human hunting? Like, what that's going to do to the true crime community? That's just nuts.
Oh my God.
That's just nuts.
You mean hunting humans? Coolest review says
Human hunting. Yeah, hunting humans. Yes. Well, I guess humans are hunting. I guess what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Human
Yes,
hunters.
coolest reviews. Thank you for putting that into better. Hunting humans. Well,
Like,
because
what
I
kind
mean,
of people do
well,
you
humans are the ones that are hunting. So I don't know. It's but yeah, and I'm
Usually
like, okay,
hunters
are they
are
doing this
human.
on purpose? So the idea, I guess, behind that is that since Dylan is part of this little group, that maybe he was accidentally killed during a hunt.
Oh my God. Wow. I need to look deeper into that. I want to hear about that. I bet you there's videos on that. If you type in Dylan Rounds human hunting or whatever.
I haven't done that one yet, but it's very possible because I know that that's the alpaca farmer. I think was either thinks that he was a potential victim of the human hunting.
Let's see, human hunting. Dylan Rounds human hunting. I searched it.
I don't know if it's hashtagged anywhere though, so that's probably a good thing.
Wow, that is just so crazy.
Or it just comes down to simple that this kid comes in as like this young know-it-all farmer. These older men have been there forever doing this, and they are not going to take orders from some kid. And somebody gets pissed off at him, and that's how it goes. It could be very simple. Like we'll get rid of him, and then we don't need to listen to this young kid trying to tell us old folk what to do, and we know what we're doing.
Or it could be like, did you hear of the Justin Evans case in Canada?
Yes, I did not follow it, but I knew somewhat about it.
So they are saying it was suicide. I don't believe so because he made it like very far from there. In his barn there was a lot of blood found, and then he was found like quite a ways away in a pond, and there was no trail or anything like that. I don't believe he hurt him, slit his own throat, and then walked down there. But and he had cuts on his wrist though that they said were kind of deep. Did he have a throat injury, or am I imagining that? Regardless, there was a neighbor who was gay, and he committed suicide shortly after Justin went missing. And he said in his suicide video, he did like a video on Facebook right before he ran out in front of a train. He said that he felt responsible for what happened to Justin, and he couldn't live with it anymore. Well, so rumors were, and I actually spoke with some of his friends quite a lot. I'm friends with a friend of Justin's now. We've kept in touch, but she told me early on that there were rumors that he could be gay. I just never put that out because it was irrelevant, and also I didn't want to like stir things up. Then after we find out about the suicide, I'm thinking that it was some kind of lovers quarrel or some kind of, and maybe that's with Dylan. Maybe there's some kind of secret lover or something like that.
Very possible. Hi, Wolfie.
Hey, Wolfie.
She's asking. She said Justin.
Yeah, Justin Evans. I was talking about. Actually, Kiara was on my. She did an interview with me, and they're expecting a baby. Kiara and Bud, his friends that went through pure hell. This girl was called a suspect by a very large YouTube channel and endured such harassment. People were showing up at her work, writing murderer all over her car, showing up at her house, taking pictures of her family. And I don't believe that she was involved in any way. The police have questioned her. They've looked at her car. I mean, they've lie detector tested him. There's all kinds of stuff that's happened. I don't believe she was involved. And I felt the fact that she was accused so publicly like that by such a huge channel, her exact location of their home was put out.
Holy crap.
Yeah, there was so much. I'll send you a video after this and you should check it out. It's a short video I made.
Okay.
Because I did stand up for a little bit, but I didn't want to like be into drama, but I just thought we cannot go on here saying that someone is guilty of murder without knowing, because you can ruin people's lives that way. She couldn't find a job. I mean, she couldn't go out in town after the people showed up at her work and rode all over her car and stuff. They moved like 15 minutes away, and she had a horrible time getting a new job because people knew who they were all around there. I mean, yeah, it was bad. But
so is it ruled a suicide? Because like I said, I knew of the case, but I never followed it. Did they actually rule it a suicide?
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm. But this, so they found a ton of blood in his barn, and then he was found. How far away was that, Woofy? 1,000 feet, 1,000 yards. It was not close, in a pond, and there was no blood trail or anything like that, and it was snowing. I mean, no, I don't see how he could have done that, but I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, no, I didn't follow it. I probably should have. But I think that was like one when I finally caught on. It was like there was so much already happening that I felt like I was behind, and it's like you almost can't catch up. So do you think the guy who committed suicide is actually the one who killed him?
Yeah, I do. I really do. A lot of people have questioned the family, S. Hockett. I just don't see why the neighbor would commit suicide and do the video saying he was, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me that, I don't know. I do think that he did, but I just think the cops didn't do a great job. I don't know. It's hard. I was going to ask you, so do you feel like pulled towards certain cases, and then other cases maybe it's not that you don't care about them, you just don't have that, you're just drawn to specific cases or people in the case?
Absolutely. I can't pinpoint what it is. I mean, because like with Chris Watts, I literally was just watching TV and I saw him on that porch interview, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I didn't know anything about all the circumstances or anything behind it. So I was just drawn to that. There used to be a show I don't remember what, I think it was called like Crime Today or something like that. And it's not on anymore, but I don't know. Did you ever follow the Malia Davis story?
Sounds familiar.
The stepdad is the one who said that he had been kidnapped by Hispanic men. He was a black man. He had been kidnapped by Hispanic men, and they took Malia and beat the shit out of him, but left his toddler son with him, and he had to try to walk back, and Wolfie was it. So this guy, so he the story just pops up on the TV, and all of a sudden it's almost like the story that's more interesting to me behind it. Why are these people the stories aren't adding up right off the bat? It's almost like a weird intuition when you hear the story. There's cases that I absolutely could not follow. Cash Gurnan, I could not follow that case. I could not follow it. It hurt my heart so bad that I would have to leave streams when they started talking about the case or details of it. And Amanda's Vita, she had some footage. I was like, I can't even look at it.
The next morning when the brother is looking for his brother.
Nope.
Oh my God almighty.
Nope. Yeah, can't even handle it. I can't do it. And then there's footage of where they found. I can't handle it. So that was too. It just hurt too much. Yeah. And so I follow it enough to know what's happening. That he's claiming insanity and so on and so forth. But I could not follow the crime as it unfolded. So yeah, there's Samuel Olson. That was kind of the same thing. The story right off the bat was weird. The interviews were weird. Summer Wells, there was something off. I don't know. There's like certain things that are just, they feel so off that I'm just automatically drawn into it. Orrin and Orson West, same thing. Immediately, their very first interview they did on TV, and the biological grandmother's out there yelling and stuff. I was like, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Oh my God, that one is crazy, and I think that they should be going to trial pretty soon
They
because
should, but I'm
they
sure there'll be
did.
some type of postponement, because that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But
Letitia Stout should be going soon. I cannot wait for that. I am so excited. I am excited, but in the worst way, because I know it's going to be devastating. I know that, you know what I mean? But also, I can't wait to see that bitch fucking pay for what she's done. I can't wait to see the day that Landon can look her in
yes,
the courtroom while
yes.
she's being, oh.
You and I need to still cover that case because I want
I
to go
know.
through that with you. Yeah, Letitia Stout, dude. Yeah, that was just, and that actually is ironic because it was somebody who lived in the area who actually had brought it into like our main chat at the time, and was like, "Hey, have you guys heard about this?" And I was like, "No." And it was like right when he was reported missing, like right off the bat. And so, and then there was some really weird stuff about it. Once again, the story was not really adding up, and I was like, "All right, let's dig further into that."
Yeah.
Do you remember the whole spoon picture? Like they made Letitia's mom take a picture of a spoon to post that it was really her talking. Do you remember all that?
Wait, I remember was this around when those recordings were released of her talking on the phone with somebody?
All right around the same time, yeah. But she had like taken off with her mom and had like then she tried to say that her mom was the one that was messaging, and they were like, take a picture of yourself, and so then she like took a picture of the spoon. Like the mom took a picture of the spoon. There was it was so weird. The whole thing, once again, very weird, very convoluted.
How
Nobody
do I
was
not
telling
know about that? Because
I don't know. I think I have that. I think I have that. I will dig when we do a Letitia Stout live. I will dig.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm excited. That's going to be really fun. Even the arrest affidavit is interesting, but imagine when we get the court documents and stuff, when we really get the info.
Well, yeah, because remember, we talked about this. The arrest affidavit came out before they actually found Gannon.
Yeah. Yep.
And that whole thing is just crazy in itself. The whole thing is just crazy. Like, how in the heck did this woman drive with little Gannon to Florida?
Yeah, with her daughter. How does the daughter not smell something or know something's going on? You know how hot, like,
the daughter's, that's weird to me. I don't know how I feel about the daughter. I don't know.
I actually,
she's young and she's out trying to live her life, and I want her to be able to live a successful life, but I still have questions. Yeah, there was a spoon. It was just like when Letitia Stock at the very beginning of all this, she was all over social media. And she was in groups, and she was, talking to people online, and, claiming her innocence, and that, so on and so forth. And her mom was defending her. And I think it was like her aunt that was defending her. And people didn't believe anything that was coming out of any of these people's mouths. So I only say the spoon because it kind of just brings me back to like all of this garbage that was coming out all over social media, and the stories kept changing and changing, but they were defending Letitia, like, she wouldn't do anything. She loved that boy, blah, 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 blah. And so people didn't believe them. So the people in the groups asked her to take a picture, I think, with a spoon. And so that everybody would know that it was like right then that the picture was taken, because obviously, you're taking the picture with the spoon. Is Michelle really leaving? Michelle, I love your face. Go enjoy your day. But, so it was once again, very convoluted mess on social media. And Letitia was all over the place. Yep. And then Landon was on social media, and then Landon's ex came around, and then the whole thing came, of course, everybody has to dive into the past of like, why is Gannon living there? And then, later on, it comes to find out that the dad was having an affair, and that's why he was at the hotel. It's like,
it's crazy. I talked to Landon.
All of this cost that little boy his life because these grown freaking adults couldn't just be adult and end the relationships in the right way. This is what happens. This is how it goes. They can't deal with problems like adults, so they just take it out on these children who have no way to
Google searches like my stepson's mom should buy me a card for Mother's Day this year and help. I feel like I'm the babysitter of my husband's kids. Like her Google searches just piss me off so bad. Oh my God, I don't know. I can't believe that I missed the spoon thing because I watched that closely, but maybe not on the same. I don't know how I missed it, actually. I did reach out to Landon and Harley. And Harley talked to me a little bit, and I was like liking her posts and stuff on TikTok. I was trying to like weasel my way into conversation with her, but as soon as I mentioned the case and that I like have a true crime channel or whatever, she was done with me. She never responded. Landon, she and I talked quite a lot, and we talked for a long time. And I invited her on my channel. She said she would love to come on. She just wants to wait till court is over. She's like,
Yeah,
when court
I
is
agree.
over, I'm writing a book. I'm getting this story out in every way I can. I'm going to be on every platform I can be on, basically, to get this story out.
Phoebe, Eduardo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But so I've always had a problem with the fact that, and I'm not blaming anybody else but her, because obviously she's the one who did this. But I've always had a problem with the fact that this woman did not just lose her marbles that weekend. Like,
yeah,
she had to have lost her marbles long before that, or people knew that she didn't have marbles to begin with. Like, this is not new, because if we look at the history with all the school stuff, like, this was not a new thing. And so I have a problem with the fact that the kids were with her to begin with.
yeah, that's a good point.
She was not stable, and she didn't just go wonky that weekend.
She had the affidavit, there's like 3 or 4 different stories in there. Oh, the tissues, like, remember she stuffs the tissues down her pants?
Tissues down her pants at the freaking police station.
Yeah, she says one point she says her and Gannon stopped to give someone a ride, that they were stopped like in the middle of the road or something, and they stopped and then something happened. At one point, these people are working on the house, and and she's being assaulted, and Gannon's trying to save her, and just like her imagination and the different stories she told. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. It's like, you crazy ass bitch. Like, do you understand?
Yes.
This is a baby. Like, what are you doing? This is not, you can go do this shit in relationships, with your friendships, whatever, have the craziest life you want and be a psycho. But when you and another woman's child, like, can you imagine if you were split with your whoever, your kid's dad, and the stepmom hurt them? Like, oh my God, I can't.
Oh, I couldn't.
Such a trusted position.
Well, what was that case? I was literally just watching it, and I don't remember the name, but it was the stepmom had taken the son to the beach, and drowned him, because she didn't want the boyfriend or husband, her husband at the time, the dad's kid, getting the attention, and she wanted all the attention, so she took him to the beach and drowned him and tried to say that it was just a swimming accident. Wow. And then witnesses came forward that said that no, she was just hanging out on the beach and with no worries, like everything was fine.
That is crazy.
I don't remember the name of it though, but it's just, it's another like this stepmom's gone crazy.
Oh my God, I just can't imagine. It is a trusted position, and you're lucky to get to. She was lucky to have those kids in her life. You know what I mean? She was. So
I'm gonna look that case up because it's gonna bother me that I don't remember the name of it.
This is one of the things though, when they had the pretrial hearing, and they have to present enough evidence to show that she should be going to trial for this. The very first thing they opened with, Teresa, was Gannon's defense wounds. And they said that his hands were covered in, like, I forget they said how many stab wounds. And I just thought about him trying to save himself. And you think about the bedroom and all the blood. And I mean, I don't know what happened. I know his hand looked swollen in the one photo, but I do know that he lived a complete nightmare. He lived a nightmare. Oh, it's Laura Day.
Absolutely. And that video, oh God.
Oh, yes.
God, I can't.
He sounds just so pitiful. So I think from that point, it was, and the next morning, that videotape of her leaving with him, and he looks like he's like kind of injured. The neighbor said he looks sick. He even drops something and he don't bend up to pick it up. She bends down and grabs it. And that always stood out to me because I thought, usually a kid would grab it real fast, but she knew that he was injured, I believe. And I think that's when she.
Oh, yes.
Now, what do you think? Do you think that she took him and put him somewhere then, or do you think he came back? Because they say that apparently she was in the back of the car, right? Because there's blood in the garage. It looks like it was leaking out of the vehicle. but I don't know. I just find that video of her, you can't see him. He's not in the front of that truck and he doesn't walk out. He might be in the back, but that's my opinion though. I don't see him. What do you think about that?
Well, I always find it weird. Obviously the little PetSmart, whatever it was, whichever one it was, that they drop him or she's going in and out of. Like, he's obviously in the car at that time. So I don't know if she expected like he was gonna die. Like this is, once again, we're gonna go into like the grotesque details of things that I wonder. Like, had she already like stabbed him and he was already so injured that like she was thinking he was going to die and she was going to be able to like dump him somewhere, and then he didn't. And so that's when like they go back home and, because there's the gunshot. I think he made it back to the house alive. I think he made it back to the house alive. I think she killed him. Getting out of the car?
Or in the front.
I think he got out on the other side.
Huh. I never thought that he got out of the car that day. I thought
we'll have to look at that. We'll have to go through that.
Yeah.
I think he got out the other side. I think at first I remember thinking that he did not get out of the car. And then I think he did. I think he got out the other side because I think that she ended up killing him at the house.
What we should do is like before, because it'll be going to trial soon. I think it's set for August, actually. Maybe we can do like a series, like a case breakdown. We could do it on both channels or whatever. I don't care, your channel. And go through all of it to refresh our memory. Go through the video of her coming home, the interview of her with her back to the camera, those things. That would be really, really interesting. And to go through. All right, Wolfie, I hear you, but I don't know.
No, I do. I think we should go through it because it's something that I haven't looked at in a long time anyway, and I would like to have like refreshers before the trial. So we can also kind of compare like what ends up being said at the trial versus what we knew and thought at the time.
Yeah. Because like you said, he wasn't even found yet in that at first arrest affidavit. Imagine I know he was found with the blanket off of his bed, and I'm sure there's other evidence from his body. And okay, he was stabbed, hit with a blunt force object, and shot.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? She was torturing him. I cannot. Oh God.
Yeah. Well, that kid. The last day of that kid's life is absolutely horrendous.
I swear, if I could get my hands on her, I would whip her ass in a heartbeat. I could picture it now. The anger inside of me for that woman, because that is just pure evil. And that baby, I think I felt so attached to it because I had Trenton is the exact same age. He was actually 11 at the time. Gannon was 11. And they look similar. They both have like dirty blonde hair, light brown hair, blue eyes. I just could see my baby in him. And I don't know. I don't know.
That's how I feel. Like, that's how I felt about Cash, because Cash reminds me of my youngest, and they're the same age.
Yeah. It's crazy when a case it hits you even harder when you see. Yeah. So no wonder you couldn't watch that and stuff.
It hits too close to home. I'm trying to find the one with the STEM fair that the chat brought up. The stepmom who killed the kid instead of going to the STEM fair, which I remember that.
Can you hand me the Fritos? Astral, we're going to go through all of it, so don't worry. I actually used to watch this channel that's not even around anymore, like Wicked, I don't know what it was called, like these two girls that were going through all this stuff. No, the Fritos. Are they not?
Oh, whatever happened to them? That was like I know exactly who you're talking about. I think I was in their Facebook
F-bombs or something.
Yeah, whatever happened to them?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I guess they just quit.
They actually were talking to Letitia like in prison.
Oh my, I missed that.
Yeah, Wicked Truths and F-bombs.
Ew, maybe they're still doing that. Yeah, I think they do have a Facebook page or something like that. Because I remember I'll sometimes, if I'm doing a video, maybe go through Facebook and see if there's any updates there, and then Twitter. And I swear I've seen they have a Gannon group.
Yeah, they do. They have a Gannon group. They haven't posted a video in over 9 months, but they did. They had a lot on Letitia Stout. Yeah, so like they were writing her letters. So there's like videos, Letitia Stout's jailhouse letters to WTAF.
Oh my God. Okay. That's cool. Maybe I just started watching more stuff but
I don't know whatever happened to him.
let's see, I'm on their page now. Their last video was 9 months ago.
Yeah. Let me see
Gabby
Facebook wise.
Petito, Brian Laundry, they have some stuff on them. Huh.
The dogs are wrestling. I don't know if you guys can hear them.
A little bit now that you say that. I'm so glad you had me on here. I love chatting with you. It's been so fun, and yeah.
I am so happy that you came on. Like I was like a kid in a candy store, like so excited. I was like, on Friday, I was like, I have somebody who's gonna come on, and I'm not gonna tell you who it is yet. Like I was so excited.
Yeah, it was so fun though. It's so easy with you. It's like I don't even have to really think. So I always enjoy like talking to people like that because you know how it is. Sometimes you just don't. The chemistry isn't good, and it just I don't know. Don't like that.
I adore you. I absolutely adore you, and I wish you nothing but success on your channel and in life and everything. I think that you are just a sweetheart, and I think you deserve it.
Thank you, and I adore you, and I know you're going to be successful on your channel. There ain't a doubt in my mind.
So you know, I have like 500,000 things that happen in life at the same time, and that's how life goes. And so I feel bad because sometimes YouTube gets put like on the back burner, and I'm really gonna try to make it more of a priority without letting it be the priority. There's that fine line that you don't want to be sucked into everything on YouTube, which is like why I refuse to watch all the stuff on every single case. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I love chatting. I appreciate you.
Come on, Teresa, let's go. We got to do our Letitia live. If you go away for too long, I'll be messaging you. Where are you at?
Well, I don't know if you know or not, but so my very first live I had scheduled on this channel was about Harmony Montgomery, and I actually canceled it because I was all up in my feels about things that had happened in my recent history on YouTube, and it was a little too emotional for me, and so I canceled it. And then I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Like I really don't know if I can do it. It's just it's hard. It's hard to go through a lot of the things that and emotions that YouTube puts you through, especially when you have friends and you lose friends. And and so I wasn't going to do it. And I actually ended up in your chat one day, and it was you and this is going to make me a little emotional. It was you and your chat. It was your wrenches and your chat that were like, no, you need to do it. No, we miss you and we want you on YouTube, and you need to do it. And I said to myself, I was like, you know what? Like I love this, and I love hanging out with you guys, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it before I lose my nerve. And I scheduled my live for that night, and I did it.
Oh my God.
And I did that because of you guys, because of you and your chat.
Oh my God, that is so cool. I remember your first live. Like I remember when you were coming, and I also remember you putting it off a little bit, but I didn't know that was, that makes me so happy because you know why? I truly believe, I believe in you. I believe in your heart. And I really believe good creators can make such a positive difference in the world, even if it's just a couple people, but it's going to be way more. But if you can help a couple people, or, it's worth it. But I think you'll help way more than that. And that's why I'm glad that you're back, because think about it. We have channels every day popping up, clip channels, drama channels, talking shit about what this person is doing, what that person's doing, what he said, what she said. We don't have good creators popping up every day. We don't have people who actually really care about these cases and actually do a good job and are smart enough it just don't happen every day. I think to lose you would be it'd be like a hit for the community, and you're an asset to the community. I'm just glad that you're here, and I hope that you never go away again. I know it's hard, I know it's hard with all this shit happening, trust me, I do, but people are going to.
I can't even tell you how much I appreciate that, because I literally didn't know. I was at a point where I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't know what the right thing to do is. I don't know I don't know which direction to kind of go. But like, I don't know. Then you said that, and it was just, the timing was perfect. And then you said it perfect. And then the people in your chat were there, and it did. It was just, it did. It pushed me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I love it, and I'm going to do it. And if there's 4 people that want to watch me, then that's 4 people I get to hang out with that I wouldn't if I didn't do it. And that's how I've always kind of felt about it. So,
oh my God, I can't imagine.
That's why I'm like, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, because you know, like you don't really know how like those random little things that are said or done when you're live or when you're doing things, you don't know how they affect other people, but that affected me,
Oh
and
my
I appreciate
God.
you.
Oh my God. I'm so glad. That is like you're making me, I'll cry. That is so
I know.
sweet.
I'm like, get out there. I'm like, okay,
Hold,
I gotta go. We've been doing this
hold
for
the
3 hours. I can't. I'm not gonna. I'm not. We did a good job. I just want you to know how much I really, truly appreciated you, and I didn't know another way to tell you. I was like, I want to collab with you. I don't care what it's about. I want to do something because I wanted you to know
Oh my God. How special. Thank
how
you.
important that was to me.
Oh, thank you for telling me that. That is so sweet and that is so special. Oh my God. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so happy that you're back. I wonder like because you have so many I'm sorry, but people can, I don't care what anyone has to say. In my opinion, you were what a lot of people loved about where you used to be, and you had a very large following over there. And I bet it was hard because a lot of people don't know where you're at. People, and like you see, Pink Dahlia, I'm so glad you're back. She says that she was like, when she saw that you had a channel, she was so thankful that you had created a channel. People were wondering where you were, and a lot of people. So I think it's so special that my channel and my chat kind of gave you that final kick in the butt. Thank you.
Well, it worked, and here I am, and I may not be here all the time, but I am here, and I appreciate. I really, I appreciate you guys. That's just. It sounds silly, but it's absolutely the truth because that was a really hard time for me, not just mentally but physically, and I didn't really know where I was going to go. So
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I don't even want to get into it because
I know.
I'll get all emotional. But I just wanted you guys to know that it meant a lot.
Well, I hope you know that you always, anything you ever need with me or with my channel, I'll do anything for you that I can ever. And I mean that. You can call me in the middle of the night whatever. I don't care. Just if you need anything, please reach out because I would love to help. And yeah.
I just appreciate you being you. That's all you do it just fine. You're perfect the way that you are. I love your content. I love your channel. I love your chat. I love your wrenches, your admins. It's just, I love it. It's peaceful. It's about true crime and a little bit of fun and some other stuff kind of dropped in. And, it's family oriented. I love it. I just keep doing you. And I think that you're going to do great things.
Thank you. And so are you. See, Lynn, she's one of my mods and one of my closest friends, Woofy too. Lynn says Pink Dahlia too, but Lynn said we want to help you as well. And yeah, anything that we can do for, even if you just need somebody to talk to.
I appreciate that. I'm not a very good person when it comes to feelings. I don't do well with like feelings. So I don't want to get too awkward because like I said, I don't do well with it. So but
okay.
I have kept you on for over 3 hours. I will let you go spend the rest of the day with your beautiful family. And I said prayers for your moms and make sure she's doing okay. And we're gonna do the next show is gonna be on your channel, and I'm super excited about that. You tell me when. I know you're not as decisive, but you just tell me when, and I'll be there.
Okay, awesome. I am traveling Thursday, so I'm going back to West Virginia, and then after that, any day we'll plan something right after that. If as long as you're free and stuff, whenever. I'll give you a couple options because like I told you, I'm so hard. If you ask me like, what do you want to go have for lunch? And there's like 4 fast food restaurants like right there, I'm just gonna like, there's no way I can choose.
There's
I don't
no
know.
way you're gonna pick. You need you have to put it into the random app, like where you just type in all your choices and then it randomly selects for you.
Ooh, I need that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed.
So
you got a Wolf, a Pink Dahlia, and a Lynn criminality. Oh, you guys are sweet.
Well, I appreciate it. LFT, thank you for hopping back in here, Monica. Appreciate you. Catnip, S. Hockett, Dina, Wolfie, Lynn, Donna, Queen, my love, all of you guys. I really do. Astral. I just, like I said, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us for 3 hours. And like I said, next time's going to be on her channel. We'll make sure to let you guys know. And
yeah,
I wish you guys the greatest day and the greatest week and the greatest month, and go enjoy life.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you to your chat. And yeah, I can't wait for our next one. And like I said, I'm always a phone call away. But this was so much fun. I loved it. And yeah, I'm going to hop off and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. Bye, Allie. Thank you. And thank you to everybody
Bye.
in chat. We'll see you next time.